Part 81. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi-Niang. Chapter 801. The design of the entire Dahuayuan villa area is very time-consuming, because each villa is different. 162 villas are equivalent to 162 plans and 162 sets of drawings. We also need to add the resort center and Lu Ligan's company. Lu Ligan also requested that no two identical houses can be found in the entire villa area, so as to show individuality and truly take advantage of the local situation. At this time, Zhang Chen missed brother Tan very much. He didn't know where he was now. If his company was still there, the landscape design could be left to him, and they would have more opportunities and time to be together. At that time, there were no specialized landscape design companies in China. Zhang Chen remembered that the entire landscape design of Linky Cave was done by Tongji University. The design was good and left a deep impression on him. Lu Ligan drove his Hu to Ben and Zhang Chen made a special trip to Shanghai and went to Tongji University. However, after exchanges, we found that Tongji University has done a lot of scenic area projects across the country, especially in East China, and has great experience. However, they have no experience or good ideas for the landscape design of villa areas. If even G University can't do it, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan can't think of any other unit that can undertake such a task. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said, "Maybe you can just do it for me. There is no rush anyway, just take your time." Zhang Chen was scared by Jason earlier and felt unsure. Although he had been responsible for landscape design at Mr. Tan's place, the time was too short after all. He left Haikan before even a single project was completed. He did not have enough accumulated experience. Landscape design is a very professional job. When it comes to the Dahuayuan Villa Area project, landscape design is actually more important than the houses. If the design of any house is broken, it will only be broken in one point. If the landscape design is not in place, it can be said that the entire project will be ruined. Jason agreed with Zhang Chen. He and Lu Ligan said that in fact, it is best to design the landscape first before us. Only when the surrounding environment comes out can we have inspiration and know what we need to borrow for our house. He introduced Lu Ligan to a Canadian, professional landscape design company, and told Lu Ligan that they had excellent performance in the landscape design of villa areas. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen had some doubts. They felt that the landscape here was completely different from that in Canada. How could a foreigner do a good job in the landscape design here? Jason said, "Our buildings are still French-style buildings, but they can be used differently here. People's aesthetics are generally the same, and this landscape design also has something in common. In this way, let them send their designers over first to have a look, you can communicate with each other, and then see if there is any possibility of further cooperation," Jason and Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan agreed. The designers from the Canadian design company arrived soon. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen, with a translator hired from Zhejiang University, went to Shanghai Hongqiao Airport to pick him up. A very capable old man came here, carrying a backpack with a tent and a sleeping bag tied to it. He didn't look like he was here for design, but more like he was here for adventure. They had dinner in Shanghai. During the meal, they learned through mutual communication that the old man was actually less than 50 years old. It was his white hair that made Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen mistakenly think that he was an old man. The name was Jacques and he said he was French-Canadian. Jacques was very powerful, and his working methods made Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen feel very good. After he came, he went to the mountain bay to see that there were no giant beasts here, and he didn't even need tents. Carrying a sleeping bag, food, and water, and not even allowing a translator to follow him, he climbed into this mountain bay alone. During the day, he wandered around the mountains alone, and at night, he opened his sleeping bag and camped alone in the mountains. After wandering around for 3 days, he was discovered by local villagers and reported to the police station that there was a foreign spy in the mountains. The people at the police station were skeptical and said that there were no military facilities nearby. Why were foreign spies here? The Qiantang River Bridge has always been guarded by the People's Liberation Army, but it was Cai Yangziang's company, so commemorating the heroes has greater significance. With the opening of the second Qiantang River Bridge and the construction of the third bridge, the military significance of the Qiantang River Bridge has lost even more. Moreover, it is still some distance away from the Qiantang River Bridge. In the mountains, you can't even see the shadow of the bridge. Since the people reported the case, the police station still sent someone there. As expected, they actually saw such a foreigner and took him to the police station. No one at the police station could speak a foreign language, and Jacques could not speak Chinese. The two sides had been asking and answering questions for a long time, but neither of them understood what the other party meant. Jacques knew that this was a police station, and the other party must have had some misunderstanding. He remembered it and took out Lu Ligan's business card was given to the police. The police called Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen rushed over with translators. Only then did the people at the police station realize that it was a misunderstanding. The other party was just a designer hired by Lu Ligan and his company. The police were also puzzled, saying that the designer was not staying in the room. Why was he sleeping in the ravine every day? Jacques told the police through an interpreter that he wanted to find the soul of this place and communicate with the elves in this place. Every place has different elves. If you want to understand this place, you have to communicate with it. Communication between spirits. The police were confused and could only send them away with a smile. On the way back from picking up Jacques, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan also tried their best to hold back their laughter. They also felt that what Jacques said at the police station was so funny. What the hell, was it a designer or a jump? God, why are all the spirits and spirits coming out? Do you want to set up an altar to worship God? But they were immediately impressed by him. After leaving the police station, Lu Ligan asked Jacques whether he should go back to the hotel first or go to eat. Jacques said that he needed to eat delicious food immediately. Lu Ligan was at Zhongshenji and invited Jacques and Jason to eat old duck pot. Both of them liked to eat old duck pot. That day, they were at the table, including Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, He Hongmei, Jason, Jacques, Wenwen, Qian and the translator. There were 8 people in total and they ate 6 dried bamboo shoots in old duck pot, which scared the waiters. He Hongmei heard that a designer from Hong Kong and a Canadian was coming, so she decided to come over and join in the fun. She also said that this meal was hers, one of the 100 meals. When everyone was drinking, Lu Ligan asked Wenwen to sing a opera song to add to the fun. Wenwen stood up and stepped aside. After singing a few lines, Jacques slammed the table and told them that the sound was the same as that of Peach Blossom Spring. Everyone looked at him. He said something through the translator, which made Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan look at him with admiration. He said that this voice and the mountain bay have a feminine beauty. This sentence immediately revealed the opera singing and the feeling of that place. This old man's vision is really vicious. Zhang Chen felt that he could grasp the essence of things so quickly. Isn't this the talent and sensitivity that a good designer needs most? Jacques closed his eyes and let Wenwen continue singing, murmuring that he had found it, and the design plan for that place was being formed in his mind. Zhang Chen also knew what he needed. The next day, Zhang Chen went to buy some Shaoxing operas and a Lu Tianhu CD for him. Jacques put on his headphones and listened to Birds in the Empty Mountain and Moonlight Night, and his tears flowed down. He said that the sound of this instrument was like being blown by the wind from the mountains. It was the same as Wenwen singing. This instrument also had a feminine beauty. This was what he felt when he was lying alone in the valley at night. With the sound, he found the spirit of that place. Next, he no longer went to that mountain bay. Instead, he went to the bookstore, the provincial museum, the library, the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts, and the China Silk Museum every day. He stayed there for more than a week and bought a lot of picture albums and CDs. And a silk scarf. I was alone in the room at night, wearing headphones and flipping through picture albums, with a silk scarf wrapped around my head. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said, "This old man is not a master of dancing, he is a master." When his first picture came out, everyone was amazed and felt that this was what they wanted. Lu Ligan immediately decided to leave the landscape design of the entire Dehuayuan villa area to their company, even if the design fee was very expensive. After the two design teams settled in, Lu Ligan told them, "Take your time. In Chinese terms, work slowly and carefully. I just hope you can make high-quality products, and I have no time requirements for you. You can spend as much time as you want to complete the entire plan." Lu Ligan has decided that he will nurture this place carefully as his own child. Anyway, he is not in a hurry to spend money. This place will no longer be developed and sold like other projects. He will wait until the entire project is completed. See if there is anything that needs to be modified. He will modify it until he is completely satisfied before starting sales. He just wants to be here to realize his dream of building the best house in China. Meng Ping said, "If you do 10 villa projects, no one will know about you." I, Lu Ligan, don't believe in this evil. I am Lu Laoxi. A project should let everyone in the country know about Peach Blossom Spring, and let all those who build houses see what real houses look like. If this continues, Lu Ligan has a premonition that this villa will probably be the most expensive villa in the country. What are you afraid of? No one will buy even one. I, Lu Ligan, will look at it and it will be very interesting. Happy. Lu Ligan also inculcated this concept into Lao Wan every day. He told Lao Wan that if you send the best people over, you can also work slowly and carefully for me. When doing the landscape and foundation, you can use an extra hoe. Not even a hoe is not allowed, do you understand? Lao Wan made it clear. Also, our company will be there in the future. Within 30 years, if I find any problems with the construction quality, Lao Wan, I will scold you every day. Are you afraid? I'm not afraid, Lao Wan said, I deserve to be scolded. The old man looking at cars in the parking lot below Liaohe Pagoda would see this white Mercedes-Benz driving past and here every day. He was wondering, this way is the countryside? Which countryman is so rich that he can buy such a high-end car? Lu Ligan would go to the Dehuayuan construction site every day no matter it was windy or rainy. Even if the construction site had not started yet, he would still walk around and take a look. He felt that he also wanted to find the elves in this place. He came here so many times that he felt like his soul had fallen here. Thank you Wu Yehuan for the reward. Smiling and running wise reward. Thank you Wu Yehuan for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. Alas, the last chapter disappeared as soon as it came out. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 802. Zhang Chen was sitting in the office. The phone on the desk rang. Xiao Wan called anxiously on the phone, "Mr. Zhang, come here quickly." "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "Someone is looking for a fight with Sister Shahen." "Ah," Zhang Chen was surprised, "Okay, I'll be right over." Zhang Chen didn't even have time to run to the next door to talk to Xiao Zhao, so he hurriedly ran downstairs. When he saw Xiao Sheng's car had just arrived downstairs, Zhang Chen didn't even have time to drive his own car, so he jumped in the car and said to Xiao Sheng, "Quick, send me to the store." Xiao Sheng quickly started the car and sent Zhang Chen to the specialty store on Yan'an Road. Zhang Chen jumped out of the car and ran into the store. A waiter came over and said, "Mr. Zhang, there is a woman upstairs scolding Sister Shahen. What should we do?" "Even trying to persuade him is useless, he is very cruel." Zhang Chen nodded and ran inside. When he ran up the stairs, he heard someone shouting from upstairs. "Call your boss to come out." "I won't leave until your boss comes out." "Hey, don't help this vixen here." Xiaowan said, "Sister, our boss is here. You need to take a rest first to calm down." "Why should I get rid of my anger?" "You tell me why I should get rid of my anger." "As long as I see this vixen, I can't get rid of my anger." As soon as Zhang Chen heard the accent, he knew that he was from Yongcheng. He understood 80% of who he was. Zhang Chen ran upstairs and saw a group of people surrounding the door of Tan Shahan's office, including customers and salesmen from his own store. Zhang Chen walked over and told his salesmen that if they were looking at anything, they should go back to their posts. The salesman walked away quickly. Xiaowan said to the woman standing there, "Sister, our boss is here." When the woman heard this, she turned around, saw Zhang Chen, and shouted, "Are you the boss of this vixen? How can you recruit such a person here and let her be the manager?" "Shut up," Zhang Chen was furious and shouted, "I am the boss here, get out of here." The woman was stunned for a moment and shouted, "Why is your boss so poor in quality?" Zhang Chen scolded, "If you were a customer, you would be our god, wouldn't you? What are you doing here? You are making unreasonable troubles here and hindering our work. What's the point of being polite to someone like you?" The woman turned to the other customers and said, "Look, do you see? What kind of boss there is, there will be what kind of employees. No wonder they are protecting this vixen." "Huang Linghua, don't think that I don't know who you are," Zhang Chen shouted. "This is not Yongcheng, a place where you show off your power. It is Yongcheng. In my eyes, your deputy county magistrate's father is not even a fart." Zhang Chen suddenly called out her name and revealed her old information. This was beyond Huang Linghua's expectation and she froze. "Do you know how much turnover my store does in an hour? How much economic loss will it cause me if you mess around here? Do you want to leave? If you don't leave, I can ask the security guards to kick you out, or I can call the police and have the police come. You take it away." Huang Linghua's majesty was restrained, and she murmured, "I'm not here to cause trouble, I'm here to reflect on the situation and let you know who this vixen is." "You first need to figure out who you are," Zhang Chen said. "I am the boss here. I don't need you to take care of who I use or who I don't use. On the contrary, do you want me to call your dad or call Yongcheng, call the secretary and ask them to take you away? Let Deputy County Magistrate Huang come and see for himself how he educates his daughter. I am me and have nothing to do with him." Huang Linghua felt short of breath. Zhang Chen reported a number to Xiaowan and said to her, "Xiaowan, go and make this call and ask President Wang from ICBC to come here and tell her that I, Zhang Chen, am looking for him." Huang Linghua's face turned pale. She looked at Zhang Chen, but she was still unforgiving. She said, bragging, "President Wang, he will come just after you ask him to come. I have 210 million in your ICBC bank account. Do you think I can't do anything about it?" Zhang Chen asked. The onlookers screamed, and Xiaowan had already walked into the office. Huang Linghua worked in a bank. Of course she knew what a big customer with a deposit of 210 million meant to the bank. At that time, 50 million for deposits, you can almost ask the bank to help arrange a vice president of the branch. Huang Linghua also knew that this was not Yongcheng. If the president of the Municipal Industrial Bank came, not even her father could do anything about it, and she might not be able to eat and walk around. "Okay, I'll go. For someone like you, I don't think there's any use in talking to you. You're probably also fascinated by this vixen." "Say it again," Zhang Chen pointed at Huang Linghua and said. "What did I say? I didn't say anything. I just said I'm leaving." Huang Linghua was completely discouraged. "Okay, you can leave, but I'm warning you, if you come here again to make trouble, I guarantee that you and your husband will not be able to stay at ICBC. Zhang Chen said, I will do what I say. Huang Linghua snorted and walked away, and everyone onlookers laughed. Zhang Chen walked into the office, and Tan Shehen sat there with a livid face. Zhang Chen sat down opposite her. Tan Shehen raised her head and looked at him and asked, Zhang Chen, do you believe that if she hadn't been in the store, I would have strangled her to death for fear of the negative impact? Zhang Chen nodded and said, I believe it. By the way, how did she get here? Zhang Chen asked. How do I know? She suddenly appeared at the door, barking like a mad dog. I pulled her in, but she refused to come in. Zhang Chen laughed, she must have known that she came in. Once you close the door, she will suffer a loss. Are you still laughing? Tan Shehen asked angrily. Then what, you're still crying after being bitten by a mad dog? Zhang Chen continued to laugh. Tan Shehen shook her head and snorted. Tan Shehen said, she just knows that I won't even quarrel with her in the store. Okay, Tan Shehen, I approve of you. If she comes again next time, you can scold her and beat her. If she is injured, I will bear the medical expenses, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shehen burst into laughter, and there are bosses like you. Why, isn't this kind of boss bad? Why do you have the same tone as Huang Linghua? Okay, thank you, boss. Tan Shehen asked, boss, do you really have that much money there, or did you lie to her? Zhang Chen scratched his head and said with a smile, what's the point of lying? Alas, it's a pity that I don't like people showing off their wealth. Today, I was forced to expose myself by this woman. Not bad, Zhang Chen, so you are a rich man, Tan Shehen said with a smile. Zhang Chen glared at her, you only know now that I am a wealthy person? I have been older for several years. Tan Shehen laughed, bragging, it's been a few years. A few years ago, I was drinking 1,000 cups or less and peeling edamame on Gaohong. By the way, Tan Shehen, don't talk to the Pole about today's matter. What? If Zhuangzi knew that if you didn't kill this woman, Zanzi might actually kill her. What does it have to do with him? Tan Shehen said, besides, I can talk to him. Zhang Chen sighed and said, Pole actually still cares about you. You, Tan Shehen, are also smart. You have to say something about certain things. You also know that Pole just says it and does it to make you angry. If Pole touches you, he is mentally retarded. Zhang Chen, can we not talk about this topic in the future? Tan Shehen looked at Zhang Chen and said. What topic? Zhang Chen asked. It's about me and the Pole. I made it clear to the Pole that day. He is him and I am me. We each live our own lives. If we can talk to each other, we will still be friends. If we can't talk, we will be strangers. That's okay. It doesn't matter, Tan Shehen said decisively. You are all my friends, and I just hope you are all well, Zhang Chen said. I'm fine as I am now. I have a job, a daughter, and a lot of things to do. Emotional matters are not on my list, and I don't want to lift the lid on the past. Whether it's right or wrong, it's the past. It's over, I just don't want to mention it again. Zhang Chen nodded and said, okay. Zhang Chen stood up and asked, are you okay? I'm leaving if you're okay. Tan Shehen smiled at him, you are the boss, do you still need my permission to leave? Zhang Chen clasped his hands and bowed, okay, you are my boss. Okay, Zhang Chen, thank you again. I'm fine. You're right. It's just that I was bitten by a mad dog. I can still argue with the mad dog, Tan Shehen said. When Zhang Chen walked to the door, Tan Shehen shouted, hey, wait, Zhang Chen, there is something else. Zhang Chen walked back and looked at Tan Shehen. Tan Shehen said to him, this morning, someone from Yongcheng came. She said she wanted to open our specialty store, can she? Your friend. Tan Shahen shook her head, I don't know. Ken. No, didn't you say before that you wouldn't allow our brand to develop a specialty store in Yongcheng? Yes, it wasn't possible before, but it is possible now. Why? There's no reason. There's no need to ban it now. I figured it out, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Tan Shahen said yes, then I will inform her to come and talk tomorrow. Zhang Chen nodded and walked out. Zhang Chen had never agreed to open a half-acre specialty store in Yongcheng before. In fact, he reserved this quota for Tan Shahen. He knew that sooner or later that shabby theater troupe would not be able to even pay wages. By then, Feng Logui and Tan Shahen is in a theater troupe and has a daughter. The livelihood of their family of 3 will be in question. If he couldn't help with anything else, he could at least help them open a specialty store in Yongcheng and live a good life. Whether it was Feng Logui or Tan Shahen, they were all his friends. It was impossible for him to say that he would just ignore it, but according to Tan Shahen's temper, if you help her directly, she will definitely not accept it, but if you open a shop to make a living on your own, she should be able to agree. Unexpectedly, so many things happened later. Now that everyone from Tan Shahen is here, there is no point in keeping this quota. Zhang Chen walked outside and saw Xiao Wan. He originally wanted to tell Xiao Wan not to tell Xiao Zhao what happened today, but after thinking about it, he didn't. Zhang Chen returned to the office. Xiao Zhao came over and asked, what happened in the store? Zhang Chen said, it's nothing. One of Tan Shahen's former colleagues had a conflict with Tan Shahen. Today he came to find trouble, but I scolded him away. Xiao Zhao snorted and asked strangely, Sister Shahen is here, how could her old colleague know? What's strange about this? The store is open there, and so many people come and go every day. Who knows how many people from Yongcheng are inside, and how do you know how many people Tan Shahen doesn't know, but they know Tan Shahen? Xiao Zhao was right to think about it. Xiao Zhao knew that Tan Shahen was Lu Ligan's girlfriend before, and also knew that she and Zhang Chen were friends, but Zhang Chen only told her that Tan Shahen encountered difficulties in Yongcheng and came to Hangzhou. What was the specific difficulty? Zhang Chen didn't say anything either. Zhang Chen felt that it was really difficult to explain that kind of thing clearly to Lu Ligan or Xiao Wu, who knew Tan Shahen as a person, but to other people, so he never mentioned it to Xiao Zhao. Thank you to the 10,000 Years White Vote Party for the reward. Thank you for your monthly tickets for a safe journey, Dang Glang Glang Glang, Zhonghaiwo and Tianying 1978. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 803. On the last day of 1994, it snowed heavily in Hangzhou. Overnight, the entire city was covered in silver. Looking out from the window of Zhang Chen's office, the cement ships on the canal, including the goods they carried, were all covered with thick snow. Under a thick layer of snow, the boat moved in the dark canal like moving pieces of ice cream. The snow is still falling, but it is much lighter than last night. Quickly, Zhang Chen, let's go to Peach Blossom Spring and see what it's like there on this snowy day. Lu Ligan shouted as he walked in from the door and stood at the door, stamping his feet up and down on the ground, trying to remove the snow on his shoes. Wen Wen and Qian followed him. They stood outside the door in the snow, stretching out their arms to block the snow above their heads. Lu Li stamped his pole a few times, and Wen Wen became impatient and pushed behind him. He slapped him and cursed. Oh, get in quickly and don't block the door. Lu Ligan was pushed by Wen Wen, and he staggered. He seemed to have just remembered that there was someone behind him, and smiled, I forgot that I still have 2 tails. Wen Wen and Qian came in from beside him, Ween Wen kicked him smoothly. Lu Ligan just stood firm, and almost fell down due to the kick. Lu Ligan was about to get angry. Ween Wen and Qian had already walked over with a giggle. They walked to the sofa in front and sat down on the sofa. Lu Ligan shouted, "Hey, hey, what are you doing? We're leaving right away." "I'm not going. It's so cold outside. Why don't you go to that shitty place? You have to go there by yourself. Every time you go there, nothing happens. You just stand there stupidly or just look around. I'm exhausted from walking. And I can't even find a place to sit." Ween Wen cursed. Qian also said, "I won't go either. Every time I come back, my shoes and pants are covered in mud and I have to wash them for a long time." Zhang Chen turned around and leaned against the window with a smile. Lu Ligan shook his head and cursed, "There is no way, these two idiots are still in the art school and have no sentiment at all." Ween Wen scolded, "What a fool you are. In addition to flirting, you don't know any other emotions. You can't even sing a bad song out of tune." Zhang Chen and Qian laughed. Lu Ligan waved to Zhang Chen, let's go, ignore them, these two people are unreasonable. Go ahead, you'd better be buried there in the snow, you'll be in love." Ween Wen waved her hand and said, "It will just freeze into a strip, wait until the weather clears before digging again," Qian said, and the two of them were laughing randomly on the sofa. Lu Ligan glared at Zhang Chen and cursed, "Hurry up, you won't be as timid as these two guys, right?" Zhang Chen walked to the desk, took the car keys and said, "Drive my car, the chassis of your sexy car is too low." The two of them were about to walk out when Zhang Chen's eldest brother rang. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and a trembling voice rang on the phone, "Instructor." Zhang Chen was shocked and shouted, "You idiot, is that you?" "It's me, instructor." "You idiot, where are you?" "I was raised by force, I am in Shangro." "Where?" "Shangro." "Shangro, Jiangxi." "Yes, instructor." "Where's brother Tan?" "Uncle Tan." The second-rate guy started to cry. "You idiot, don't cry. Tell me what's wrong with brother Tan." "The scaffolding collapsed at one of our construction sites here. Tan Shu was injured in the fall, and the foreman who was forced to raise him escaped." Zhang Chen was surprised and asked quickly, "Is brother Tan seriously injured?" "I can't get up anyway, and we don't have money to go to the hospital." "Young man, please tell me where you are in Shangro." "I'll come right away." "We are on Ganbei Northeast Avenue in Shangro." Just as the second guy said this, another voice rang, "Hey, who are you and where are you from? Why did you come to our office to make a call?" The call was immediately hung up. Zhang Chen estimated that the second-rate guy probably didn't even have the money to make long-distance calls. He had gone to some work unit to make secret calls and was discovered. "What's wrong with Lao Tan?" Lu Ligan asked anxiously. "Xiao Zhao," Zhang Chen shouted. Xiao Zhao ran over and asked, "What's wrong? How much cash do you have in the safe?" "More than 70,000, what's wrong?" "The second-rate guy just called and said that they are in Shangro, Jiangxi. Their eldest brother fell and was injured, and they don't even have money for hospitalization." Lu Ligan cursed. When Xiao Zhao heard this, his heart sank and he asked quickly, "Brother, is it important?" Zhang Chen shook his head, "I don't know, please bring all the money, I want to go there right away." "I'll go with you," Lu Ligan said. Okay, Xiao Zhao ran away for a few minutes, then ran back with the money, his eyes were red, and Xiao Zhao said, "I'll go with you too." "Don't go, it's snowing," Lu Ligan said, "just the two of us can go. I'll call you when we get there." "Is that enough money?" "Not enough for me to get it down below." It's okay. I still have it in the car. If it's not enough, I can pick it up over there." "Let's go quickly," Lu Ligan said. The two people took the money and ran out in a hurry. Xiao Zhao chased after him and said, "When you see brother, call me immediately and tell me the situation." Zhang Chen waved his hand without looking back. The two people ran to the parking lot downstairs. Lu Ligan went to his car and brought a bag of cash over. The two people drove away in Zhang Chen's car. As the car approached Liaohe Pagoda, Zhang Chen remembered and said, "Pole, look inside the car to see if the map is there." Lu Ligan opened it and said he didn't have it. Zhang Chen then remembered that he had taken the map upstairs, but it was okay. "We were just going to Shangri. We just drove along the 320 National Highway. At worst, we bought one on the way, but after arriving in Shangri, how to find them?" The second guy only mentioned Northeast Jiangxi Avenue, where exactly, but before he could say anything, the call was cut off. It's okay. How big is Shangri, and there are so many construction sites on one street? As long as we get there, we will go there one by one, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen nodded. From what I heard earlier, he and Lao Tan should be working under someone else's contractor now. Why didn't he call us earlier? Lu Ligan said. You still don't know about his temper. Will he ask for help or complain to others? I guess he doesn't even know about the phone call that the idiot made today. If he knew, the idiot would be scolded to death by him, the idiot. There must be nothing else he can do, otherwise, he wouldn't even listen to Lao Tan's words, Zhang Chen said. Yes, this snowy day, for the rich, is a sign of a good harvest, but for the poor, it means the road is frozen to death, Lu Ligan sighed. Not only Lao Tan, even Qiang and Li Yong didn't even get a single call. Not only them, but you, how many months have you had a phone call? Zhang Chen remembered the past and cursed. Lu Ligan chuckled. In fact, it was not only them, but also Zhang Chen himself. When he had just arrived in Hangzhou and was struggling, how could he have the mood and courage to call the group of people in Hainan? When he made the first call, he was not. Brother Tan scolded him, blaming him for not having a call for so long. Unexpectedly, today, he got another call. When people are in trouble, or when they are in a bad situation, people with self-respect, especially men, will withdraw all their tentacles, try not to disturb others, wrap themselves up as tightly as possible, and avoid contact with others. He has to carry all the big things by himself. Only a sissy would look for someone to cry about when something big happens. They turned onto National Highway 320. From here to Yongcheng, they didn't need a map. It's still snowing outside. Fortunately, National Highway 320 is the main road connecting Shanghai to Rulai, Yunnan. It passes through 5 provinces and 1 city in Shanghai: Zhejiang, Jiangxi, Hunan, Guizhou, and Yunnan. The traffic is busy and large trucks are available 24 hours a day. The stream was flowing continuously and there was no snow in the middle of the road. But there was not only thick snow on both sides of the road, but also ice. In the 20 minutes they drove out, they saw 2 cars, one small car, crashing into the cliff on the roadside. A few people stood beside the car in the steam, watching a car pass in front of them in a daze. In this weather, I don't know how long it will take for the rescue vehicle to arrive. There was also a large truck that crashed into a poplar tree. The front of the truck had already rushed off the road. If it were not supported by the trunk of the broken poplar tree, it would have gone into the wheat field on the roadside. Cars still driving on the road, watching this live snow driving safety education. Everyone is very careful, no matter big cars or small cars, they are crowded in the middle of the road, close to the side of the median, making the originally 2-way 4-lane road, turned into a 2-way single lane, and the speed was very slow. Although Zhang Chen was anxious, there was nothing he could do. After passing Fuyang and before reaching Tonglu, the entire traffic stopped, but the lane opposite the isolation belt was open. You didn't need to ask to know that a car in front had an accident, and the lane that was originally only 1 lane was blocked. It was also completely blocked. Not long after the accident happened, people got out of many cars in front and walked to the front to see what was going on. Lu Ligan also opened the car door and walked out. He said, "I will go and have a look too." Zhang Chen was sitting alone in the car, looking at the snow flying in the sky outside. He couldn't help but think of the last night he and Xiao Zhao were in Haikan. All the roads out of the city were blocked by Hongganglu's gangsters. At that time, they were really desperate. It was the eldest brother who helped them find a way out of the island through connections. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen. He remembered that on the internal pier of the Haitian Island Border Defense Hospital, his elder brother gave him the money, but he refused to take it. The elder brother scolded him and said, "Take it. When you go back to your hometown, if you encounter any difficulties, just remember to call me, don't hold on." "But brother, why are you holding on now? Why didn't you call me earlier?" Tears couldn't help rolling down from Zhang Chen's eyes. Zhang Chen remembered that his eldest brother was worried that those bad guys would chase them to the internal dock, and he and Xiao Zheng had been guarding the dock until their ship sailed away, and then he left with peace of mind. Zhang Chen remembered that when his shop opened, his eldest brother came with Lu Ligan, Meng Ping, and the others. They were too busy at that time and there were too many friends there. They didn't say anything alone, but eldest brother should know that I am open here. In such a shop, there is always enough for a bowl of rice. If you want to go to some construction site to work, what are you trying to do?" When Zhang Chen saw Lu Ligan coming back, he quickly wiped the tears from his eyes with his hands. Lu Ligan got on the car and looked at him. Zhang Chen turned his head, and Lu Ligan didn't ask anything. It was about to be opened. A van broke down. Many people lifted the van together and lifted it to the side of the road. Lu Ligan said. "Why the hell don't you lift it?" Zhang Chen scolded. "I don't think I can even squeeze in." "Thank you for the rewards from laughing and running. Why, reading books every day, Dal Tin Soldier, and On the Shore 131. Thank you Lu and Cup Guy API for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. I feel that the chapters I couldn't change were all changed to the point of retardation, which seriously affected my writing speed. I'm even later today, I'm sorry. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 804. The road ahead opened quickly, but the speed of the car has been very slow, and there are still problems on the road. Zhang Chen can only stop the car. He doesn't know when he will be able to move. When he can move, he doesn't know how long it will take to stop. Everything is unknown. Stopping and going like this, Zhang Chen's feet were sore when he stepped on the accelerator and clutch. But looking at the familiar environment outside, they knew that they hadn't gone very far, not even a new climb. At this time, the two only then can you feel that being familiar with the route turns out to be such a despairing thing. It might as well be a stranger, and you can at least have some expectations. According to this trend, they don't even know if they can drive to Shangriu tomorrow morning. The more than 300 kilometers from Hangzhou to Shangriu feels like it is farther than 3,000 kilometers today. It is a long and endless road. The weather was cold, and the air conditioner was turned on in the car. It was crawling like a snail, burning not only time, but also fuel. The car drove to the foot of Tongjun Mountain, and had not yet crossed the Shuijiang River, entered Tonglu County, and left Hangzhou. A full tank of fuel showed that there was only 1 bar left on the fuel gauge. Zhang Chen cursed, "Lu Ligan, I didn't expect that my car would catch up with your saucy car." After passing Tonglu County and preparing to refuel, there was also a long queue at the gas station. Zhang Chen saw that there were large rectangular plastic buckets for sale in the store next to him, so he asked Lu Ligan to get out of the car and hurry up. He went to buy 2 and brought back an atlas. Lu Ligan came back after shopping and put the things in the car, but he didn't get in the car. While Zhang Chen was waiting in line to refuel, Lu Ligan walked out and came back after a while, carrying a bag of steaming dried tofu. The Zhongshan dried tea here in Tonglu is very famous, and the pieces were inserted on bamboo sticks. 3 slices in a bunch, 1 bunch in a big steel pot, and the steel pot is sitting on the briquette stove and stewing. Any long-distance shuttle bus from Yongcheng to Hangzhou, whether it is a bus from the passenger terminal, a travel company, or a labor service company under the County Transportation Bureau, this bus runs from Hangzhou to here at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Exactly at around 5 o'clock, all cars will definitely stop here. There is no need for the driver to be nagging. Passengers in the car will get off the bus, buy a few bunches of dried tofu here, smear both sides with hot sauce, and eat while standing on the side of the road before continuing on the road. If they stop at other places to eat, the driver will be murmured by the passengers. Here on the other hand, drivers who do not stop will be scolded by passengers. Zhang Chen didn't expect that there would be people out in this weather. 2 people came out of Hangzhou. It was almost 2 o'clock. They hadn't eaten anything yet and were hungry. So they sat in the car and poured out a steaming, fragrant and delicious bag. After eating the spicy dried tofu and shiraz, I felt much better. When it was their turn to refuel, Lu Ligang took down the 2 plastic buckets, filled them with gas, and put them in the trunk. They knew that under this situation, if the car was stuck in an inaccessible place at night, there would be no place in front or behind. In the place, the engine was burning and out of oil, and there was no spare oil in the car. Not to mention that the car couldn't move, the 2 of them would probably be frozen into 2 big popsicles. When they came out in a hurry in the morning, none of them brought thick clothes. Normally, Zhang Chen has air conditioning at home and in the car. When he got to the office, there was still air conditioning. The only part without air conditioning was the way to get off the car and go up the stairs. There were no people there yet. When it gets cold, we have finished walking, and there is really no need to wear thick clothes. The same goes for Lu Ligan. He did have a few down coats in his car. They were worn when he went to visit the peach blossom spring. He was in a hurry in the morning and forgot to take them. After refueling, we continued on the road. The National Highway 320 from Tonglu to Yongcheng had just been renovated and the road condition was relatively good. The snow stopped more than 2 hours ago. The road maintenance workers of the highway section were dispatched to clear the snow on the road. 1 lane changed back to 2 lanes, and the speed of the car was much faster. The 2 of them immediately became excited and felt that everything was not that bad. Happiness always comes when you are about to despair. After a delicious meal of tofu, the road suddenly opened up again. After refueling, Lu Ligan was the driver. Lu Ligan became proud at this time and shouted, "Did you see, Zhang Chen, it's all because of you, the unlucky man, who drove the car. As soon as it was me, the situation changed immediately. The speed has increased." Zhang Chen looked at him and shook his head, too lazy to pay attention to him. Lu Ligan was so excited while driving the car that he sang his hey 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 while weaving in and out among the large trucks and overtaking. "What a loss," Lu Ligan suddenly shouted. "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "I should have known that I should have driven here in my slut." As soon as that comrade stepped out, all the cars would give way. "Shit, who cares about you?" Zhang Chen scolded. "If you don't give me money, I'm afraid I won't be able to pay for it if I hit them. Let me tell you, Zhang Chen, really, you should also buy one. I have realized it now. When I drive that car, others' cars will always keep a little distance from me. They think you are too coquettish, right?" Zhang Chen said. "I feel at ease when I drive my car with 2 plastic barrels of spare oil. But when I drive your oil tiger, do you need to call a gas tanker later? Is the tanker following? Then you ride on 2 wheels. Don't even prepare a bottle of mineral water." Lu Lepole patted his thigh and shouted, "Besides, it's an automatic transmission. It doesn't matter if this leg is disabled. No matter how steep it is, the slope is not afraid of slipping either. Zhang Chen shouted, I can't slip on any steep slope. I won't use it at all. Besides, what's the point of not using one leg? Aren't you afraid that over time, one leg will become thicker and the other thin? I'm tired of communicating with a rich guy like you. Then you should shut up, or continue chasing your hey 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 hey, your hey 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 hey, your tune has already escaped the provincial border. The two bickered and soon passed Qililong. Before they reached Xixia, Lu Ligan yelled you. Zhang Chen looked up and saw the national highway in front of him was packed with cars. Blocked again. Zhang Chen laughed, whose reason is it now? Lu Ligan smiled awkwardly. This time it was completely blocked and motionless. A truck driver had already lit a pile of fires on the roadbed, and many people gathered around to warm themselves up. Some people even built snowmen on the roadside and had a snowball fight. Lu Ligan rolled down the window and asked the person next to him, what's wrong? Hit someone? How are people? It seems like it's not going to work anymore, the man said and walked away. Lu Ligan couldn't hold himself back and ran forward to take a look again. He said to Zhang Chen, come on, and got out of the car. The car didn't turn off, but the handbrake was on. Zhang Chen looked at the car in front of him and saw no sign of movement, so he moved over and sat there, thinking blankly. The air conditioning in the car was very strong, making people drowsy, and Zhang Chen fell asleep without knowing it. When he woke up, he was startled. It was a little cloudy outside. He looked at the time and saw that it was almost 4 o'clock. It had been an hour since Lu Li had gone down the pole and he still hadn't come back. And all the cars were still lying on the ground. The ground seems to be playing a game of wooden figures that cannot speak or move. Zhang Chen also wanted to get out of the car and went to the front to see what was going on. He saw that there were people in front and started to walk back. This meant that the problem in front was solved. The car was about to start moving. He quickly opened the door and got out of the car. Walked around the front of the car, walked to the driver's seat and sat down. He sat there for 4 or 5 minutes and saw Lu Ligan rubbing his hands and walking back with a bow. As soon as he got into the passenger seat, he shouted loudly that it was cold, it was cold. Several people came up from behind and looked into their car. Then they patted the window of Lu Ligan's car and shouted, thank you. Zhang Chen asked curiously, what did you do? Go to hell, you met some unruly people. No wonder Wei Venfang is so angry at Wu Ziyai and his fellow villagers. Don't talk nonsense. There are good people and bad people everywhere. Isn't Wu Kai very good? He's an alien. What's wrong? They detained you because you were too talkative, Zhang Chen asked when he saw Lu Ligan was so aggrieved. How could it be me? It's the truck driver who caused the accident. Half the village came out. What happened if he hit the other person? Died. What, isn't it normal to die? What the hell are you saying? Are they human words? People have died, and half the village has not yet come out. What a human life. A pig ran onto the road, was hit by a truck, and died. Didn't the man in front say he hit someone? Do you believe it at 13 o'clock? I was there for such a long time. Does he know or do I know? Okay, tell me. The pig died, so they carried the dead pig to the middle of the road, blocked it on the road, and asked the truck driver to pay for the pig. Then we're looking for the driver. Why are we blocking the road? So you say you're a troublemaker, go to hell, Lu Ligan cursed. Do you know where they stopped them and how much compensation they asked the driver to pay? A pig costs 200 to 300 yuan, which is a lot of money. 2,000. Holy shit. Then the driver is not willing to pay compensation. What's funny is that the pig owner is so humming arrogant. When he first came here, he said it was an old sow, and he relied on the sow to give him piglets to sell, but someone held it. The guy who killed the pig pulled it out so long. I asked him if it was a sow or a boar. Your sow still has this thing. Jiang Chen laughed. In the end, he said that this was the best boar in the village and was specially used for breeding. No one cares about it for so long. Yes, the police came, but people in their village said that it was indeed the breeding pig in the village. The police had nothing to do. The police were not veterinarians, so they had to mediate. In the end, they settled for a compensation of 1,000 yuan. I've earned $1,000. They made a profit. Poor driver, he was crying in such a cold weather and at such an old age, his nose and tears were frozen on his face. He said that he could not earn more than 1,000 yuan even if he made this trip of goods and went back and forth for 12 days. Peace. Jiang Chen understood and said, then you gave him this 1,000 yuan. Then what should we do, otherwise this road will always be blocked, Lu Ligan said, what is hateful is these people. I gave them 1,000, and they still ask the driver for 300, saying that 1,000 is for my passing. They are brave enough to do what is right, and Sanbei educates drivers to pay attention to traffic safety. Damn it, they can talk all kinds of nonsense, this place is full of outstanding people. Jiang Chen laughed, have you met your opponent? I have met my nemesis. More than just my opponent, I have gained another $300. It's okay. Yes, you did act bravely. I didn't see so many people patting the car windows to say thank you. The car in front started to move, and Jiang Chen also started the car. Finally, there were no more accidents on the journey to Yongcheng County. After all this trouble, when they arrived in Yongcheng, it was completely dark outside. The two of them decided not to go into the city, so they had dinner at a restaurant under the big camphor tree outside the city, and continued on their way after eating. There are still more than 210 kilometers from Yongcheng to Shangri. If it were normal, Lu Ligan would definitely say, I just farted and he was very good today. Thanks to Wu Yehuan and smiling running Y for the tip. Thank you Wu Yehuan, Thirst for Ganquan, Mark, Book Friends 1302211840471110, Cheng Shanming, Bronze, 1890-798-3117, Bean Rain 11, Yuxi Act 1, The Road Back, The Long Road Yuen Leng Leng Yu Meng Qing, Rosefish, Violent Madman, Shen Monthly Votes for King of Heaven, Carrying a Knife Without an Umbrella on a Rainy Night, Wandering Rain, Power, Book Friends 2018111015045378. Thank you for all the votes and reading. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 805. Jiang Chen and Lu Ligan finished their meal at the restaurant under the big camphor tree, and asked the boss to pack a portion of stir-fried beef with radish, a portion of duck with soy sauce, a portion of raw stir-fried chicken, and a portion of spicy fish fillet, in preparation for midnight. Eat it as a late-night snack when you're stuck in traffic. When they saw that there was actually 1,000 cups less wine on the counter, the two of them thought of it almost at the same time and asked the boss to move all the 2 boxes of wine left in the store to their car. This was the shot they drank every day on Jiaofang. I really missed it. I searched all over Haikan but couldn't find it, and I didn't see it in Hangcheng either. Although the road on this section of the national highway from Yongcheng to Lanzhou is not wide, because there are usually few cars, the road surface is still very smooth. In addition, it is a gravel road. Even if it is snowy, it is not as slippery as asphalt road when driving. Which ignited the flame of hope in their hearts, hoping that such a gravel road could lead all the way to Jiangxi. But the good times didn't last long. When we drove to Lanzhou, cars coming from Jinhua, Wenzhou, and Lishui directions, and cars going to Jiangxi and Hunan all merged in. The number of cars on the road suddenly increased a lot, and the road turned into asphalt. Fortunately, there were also a lot more traffic police. Although the journey was slow, it was not blocked yet, so it was considered smooth. They finally arrived at Kuzhu City at around 10 o'clock in the evening. Going further from Kuzhu City is Changshan County under Kuzhu City. After leaving Changshan, they left Zhejiang and arrived at Yushan County in Jiangxi. Yushan belongs to the Shangrao area. After passing Yushan, we arrived at Shangrao City. They arrived at Changshan at more than 12 o'clock. Changshan is only more than 80 kilometers from Shangrao. But as soon as they left Changshan, their heads were big. It was snowing, and the mountain roads were still under construction. Those temporary signs quickly changed the continuous road. The endless motorcade was directed to leave the 320 national highway and enter the complicated provincial roads, county roads, and even rural roads at the junction of the two provinces. They followed the signs around and stopped to pay the toll to cross the border. They thought they were leaving Zhejiang. Not far away, there was a toll station blocked by villagers with bamboo poles and asked them to pay 5 yuan. After asking, they returned to the toll station. Zhejiang. Continuing to drive forward, there was another toll station. This time the toll booth said that they were from Jiangxi. Seeing that their car had a Zhejiang license plate, they also told them that the road signs in front were written by you Zhejiang people. There are so many cars driving over to collect money. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan didn't know. If their license plates were from Jiangxi, would the people from Zhejiang in front of them say that they were written randomly by an old man from Jiangxi? They were just turning around on the county and township roads in the mountainous area. These roads, which are not usually used by many heavy vehicles, cannot withstand the crushing of so many container trucks and trucks. The roads have long become potholes and muddy everywhere. There were pits as big as one of their cars, and they seemed to be crawling out of them and driving into them again. Even if we climbed, we didn't get very far. All the cars were blocked. At this time, heavy snow began to fall in the sky again. The scene here is different from that on the national highway. No one dares to get out of the car even if there is a traffic jam. When you open the car door, there is a puddle outside the car door. If you want to light a fire, you can't find a piece of dry land. Everyone only dares to huddle in the car. Even if they need to urinate, they can only open the door, squat in the car and shoot out of the car. Anyway, on such days and on such roads, you basically can't see women. It doesn't matter. So shy. Even if you want to be shy, it's impossible. The whole road is covered with snow, and the front and rear headlights of those trucks illuminate the entire valley. Everyone's movements in the car, but you don't turn on the lights. The car can also be seen clearly. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan simply moved their seats back, turned off the car's high and low lights, took out the food and drinks, and started drinking in the car. I opened a bottle of gunsatsu and took out the disposable plastic cup I brought from the hotel. It was very troublesome to pour the cup back and forth, so the two of us decided not to use the cup at all. The bottle was passed between you and me, and we drank it in one sip. After drinking half a bottle of wine, they saw that the gas gauge was almost out of gas. The two of them turned off the car, put a plastic bag from the restaurant on the outside of their shoes, got out of the car, and took out a barrel of gasoline from the trunk. Get fuel for the car. They were refueling when a man got out of a Santana behind them. He came through the freezing muddy water. He walked up to them. A pair of leather shoes and trousers were soaked in the mud. He asked Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan if he could sell him some gasoline. His car was almost out of gas. In order to save fuel, he stopped here and had turned off the engine several times. However, there were children in the car and he did not dare to turn off the engine. It's been too long, this damn weather is too cold. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan looked behind and saw a little boy of about 10 years old sitting in the passenger seat of his car. Lu Ligan said, "In this kind of weather, are you still bringing your children out?" The other party said, "There is no way, his mother works in Jianshan and is sick. I want to take him to see her." Zhang Chen put down the barrel. There was still half a barrel of oil in it. He gave him the half barrel of oil and the barrel. The other person said it was too much. I only need half of this, and I should be able to last until the gas station. Zhang Chen said it's okay, we still have it in the car, you can take it, don't freeze the child. The other party wanted to pay, but Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen insisted not to pay. Lu Ligan said that there was not much money for this little oil. The other party thanked me profusely and walked back with a bucket and muddy water. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan returned to the car, started the engine and continued to drink. After they finished drinking a bottle of wine, the light outside gradually dimmed. It turned out that those large trucks were all hopeless. Turn off the car lights. The light became darker and darker, and the surrounding area was finally completely plunged into darkness. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan were lying there chatting. They had just drank wine and were really tired from the day. They didn't chat for a few words before falling asleep. When someone knocked on their glass, they sat up and took a look. It was snowy outside again and it was already dark. The person who knocked on their glass was the man who came to ask them to buy gasoline last night. Lu Li rolled down the window and said, "It seems that the front is open to traffic. I saw that you were asleep, so I came to call you." Lu Ligan quickly said thank you, thank you. Zhang Chen asked, "Do you still have enough oil?" "That's enough, thank you." He waved to Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan and walked back to his car. It was finally open to traffic, and all the cars sounded their horns excitedly. They entered the urban area of Shangguo along Wuzhen Avenue. Wuzhen Avenue drove to People's Square, turned left to northeastern Gansu Avenue, drove to the end, and arrived at Xinjiang Bridge. After crossing the bridge, northeastern Jiangxi Avenue also ended. The urban area of Shangguo is not large, a little smaller than Jinhua, but it is beyond Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan's expectations. The urban construction here is certainly not comparable to the Woolen Square and Ziba area in Hangzhou at that time, but it is better than that at that time. The rest of Hangzhou is not bad at all. Because Shangguo is an old revolutionary area, it can receive a lot of policy support and financial support from the central government. In addition, the old comrades who participated in the revolution here have a complex of nurturing the old revolutionary area and are facing the construction of Shangguo from all aspects. It has been a great help, so this is the result. Ganbei Northeast Avenue is one of the main commercial streets in Shangguo. There is a very wide and beautiful green belt in the middle. On both sides of the green belt, there is a lane on one side, and on both sides of the lane, there are sidewalks that are wider than the lane. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan arrived here and were a little dumbfounded when they saw the buildings on both sides. Although the buildings here were not high and none exceeded 10 floors, they were quite numerous. They only heard from the second-hand workers that they were doing projects here. It didn't say whether it was a civil construction project or a decoration project. Lao Tan and the others were originally engaged in decoration. It should be said that it was more reasonable to do decoration, but if a decoration project was hidden in so many buildings, how could they find it? They parked the car in People's Square and stood outside the car, looking around blankly. Zhang Chen suddenly laughed and cursed, "You're so damn stupid." "What's wrong?" Lu Ligan asked. The idiot said that Lao Tan was injured when the scaffolding collapsed. What kind of scaffolding is needed for interior decoration? Even if there is scaffolding, it won't be a big deal if he falls. It must be outdoors. Yes, Lu Ligan also burst out laughing. The two people immediately decided to go down from the People's Square side to Xinjiang Bridge, then turn around and drive up. They drove the entire northeast Jiangxi Avenue twice and returned to the People's Square, but saw no scaffolding. The two people stood outside the car again, looking around blankly. This time it was Lu Ligan who suddenly laughed and cursed, "You're so damn stupid." "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "The second-hand workers all told us that the scaffolding collapsed and the contractor ran away." We still have to find the scaffolding. Are we sick? Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen laughed. However, there was no scaffolding, and no construction work was seen on both sides of the street. Moreover, the most troublesome thing is that Erhuo hasn't said when it happened. This time, the two people were at a loss again and fell into a mess. Lu Ligan looked at a middle-aged man wearing red sleeves and waving a small red flag who was directing traffic at the intersection. He suddenly thought that this man works here every day. If any scaffolding at a nearby construction site collapses, he might know. Lu Ligan walked towards him, handed him a cigarette, and asked him if there were any construction sites nearby where scaffolding fell down. Yes, I heard that many people were injured. The other party nodded and said. Lu Ligan was overjoyed and quickly made an OK gesture towards Zhang Chen, who quickly ran over. Lu Ligan asked him where he was, and the other party pointed to the northeast Gangxi Avenue and told them, "Did you see it? Go in here, the three-way intersection, Zhongshan Road, go in Zhongshan Road, 200 meters away, there is a guy selling gold coins and ties, that's it. There was a house next to the tie shop, and the scaffolding fell down right there." The two people quickly thanked the man and drove over there. "This humming idiot, just call Zhongshan Road, and even come up with northeastern Jiangxi Avenue," Zhang Chen scolded. Lu Ligan smiled and said, "How can I call you a fool if you don't do this?" He is afraid that you are too stupid and can't find Zhongshan Road, so he will tell you a bigger road. You, Zhang Chen cursed, "let's see how I deal with him later." Thank you for the tip that ranks third from top to bottom. Thank you to Struggle, Watch, and Book Friends 201705172013084448 for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 806. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan drove their car and turned into Zhongshan Road from Ganbei Northeast Avenue. They immediately saw the Gold Lion store and the building. When Zhang Chen saw this building in the car, he knew it was right, it should be here. This is an old 5-story building that is undergoing renovation. The exterior wall paint on the facade was painted from above and was not continued until we reached the 3rd floor. The scaffolding must have collapsed while the work was getting here. They parked the car in front of the building. The 4 facades on the 1st floor of the building were all old-fashioned wooden doors, all bolted from the inside. There was a passage at the edge of the building, and the entrance of the passage was made simple with old wooden boards. The door seems to be the way to enter this building. This should be the way to enter. The old wooden door was ajar. Zhang Chen and Lu Li pushed it open and went in. In the open space inside, there was a man boiling water on a temporary stove built with a few bricks. The man who was boiling water heard the noise and turned around. Both parties were stunned. That person was a slut. He looked thin and dark, and he seemed to be a bit smaller. He was completely different from the slut from Heiken. When Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan saw it at first sight, they both ate a lot shock. The second-rate guy was also very surprised when he saw them. He sneaked into his workplace yesterday and sneaked in to call Zhang Chen while there was no one in the office. In the middle of the fight, he was discovered and kicked out. He didn't even have time to tell Zhang Chen the address clearly. He was very upset. He was thinking of looking for it again today to see if there was any other unit where he could sneak in, but Zhang Chen didn't expect it. Lu Lipol has arrived. The second-rate guy stood there, grinning. Zhang Chen quickly asked, "Where is the eldest brother, a second-rate guy?" Inside, said the second-hand guy. The door to the room behind her didn't have a door. Instead, it was made of several layers of broken linoleum and nailed to the door to serve as a curtain to keep out the wind and cold. The second-rate guy opened the curtain, and the smell of feces and urine mixed with the smell of something rotting hit his face, almost knocking them over. Inside was the original shop, with a large space, but because there were no lights, the light was very dim. It took Zhang Chen and Lu Lipol a while to get used to it, and they could see clearly what was going on inside. There were 3 beds on the left, with people lying on them and people sitting in front of the beds. When they saw Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan coming in, they didn't know who was coming, so they all stood up alertly. There was another bed in the corner on the right. In the dim light, the person on the bed was struggling to get up from the bed, probably after hearing the noise outside. The second guy shouted over there, "Uncle, the instructor and the pole are here." Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan were shocked, and then they realized that the vague-looking man on the bed, with long and messy hair and beard, looking like a homeless man, was Mr. Tan, Mr. Tan. Zhang Chen stepped forward, called Big Brother and choked up. Neither he nor Lu Ligan expected that Mr. Tan, who was so majestic in Heiken back then, would be in such a state of decline. They themselves have been down and out before, but they have never been like this. They were not like a human being. When Lu Ligan was most unlucky, Zhang Chen probably gave him a pair of leather shoes. They were the only pair of shoes he could wear. It was also stolen. The most unlucky time for Zhang Chen was probably the first day they arrived in Hangzhou, sleeping in the corridor of the hunky hotel and in front of the toilet. But at least it was a decent bed, with hot water. You could wash your feet before going to bed. When you got up, you walked out of the hotel door and walked on the street. The person looked presentable, and others couldn't tell at all that he was a sleeper. The person sleeping in front of the toilet. The bed here is not a bed, but a few bricks, with several building templates of different lengths placed on them. The templates are covered with several layers of picked-up cardboard boxes. There is not even a quilt. The ground where your heels are is also covered with a large piece of cardboard, is probably where the second-rate guy sleeps. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan also knew that Mr. Tan and the second-rate man were having a hard time, but the scene in front of them still exceeded their imagination. Mr. Tan snapped, "Who asked you to come?" Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He thought Mr. Tan was confused and shouted, "Brother, I am Zhang Chen." "I know who you are," Mr. Tan said. He then asked the second guy, "Did you make the call?" "How the hell did I tell you?" The second guy was mumbling, but before he could say anything, Mr. Tan reached out and grabbed an enamel teapot on the bedside and threw it towards the second guy. The second guy subconsciously raised his arm, and the teapot hit his arm. It fell to the ground with a clang sound. "Old Tan," Lu Ligan called. "What are you here for?" "Are you here to see my Tan someone's joke?" Lao Tan asked. Zhang Chen quickly said, "Brother, if you want to see a joke, you also want to see a joke on me. It's because I'm late." "I don't need you to come and see me," Mr. Tan said, but his tone softened a little. "You don't need me to come, I have to come." Zhang Chen said, "Brother, when Xiao Zhao and I were desperate, you helped us find a way and sent us to the pier. On the pier, you gave us money, but we didn't want it. Do you still remember what you said? You said, 'Don't call me Big Brother. Big Brother, if you don't let me come or let me know your situation, are you denying me as your little brother?'" Mr. Tan was stunned. He was asked by Zhang Chen. Lu Ligan said, "Old Tan, I know you are hurting your face by not letting us know your situation, but have you ever thought that if you don't tell us, you are slapping us in the face? Who has never been unlucky? That was caused by the general trend, and I am just as unlucky, no better than you. Do you think that we are also the kind of snob people and are not worthy of being your friends?" Mr. Tan sighed, "I don't think so." "Don't think so? Why don't you call me and Xiao Zhao if you don't think so?" Zhang Chen asked. "You know our store in Hangzhou is open. No matter how bad our business is or how poor we are, we can't even share the 2 bowls of rice. No one can starve to death. What's the matter with you just coming to work for others in silence? Mr. Tan opened his mouth but was speechless. And you idiot, why didn't you call after he told you not to call? Zhang Chenzhen got a little angry and cursed, it's been so long, even if you just secretly called me to tell me that you're okay, if something hadn't happened here, would you have never called me in the rest of your humming life? Old Tan, are you afraid that we will come and compete with you for your job? You are older than us, so you are afraid that you cannot compete with us, Lu Ligan said jokingly. Mr. Tan finally laughed and cursed, I can't beat you, okay, don't be crazy, kid. Let's arm wrestle later and I'll convince you to lose. Okay, after Bai Yi recovers from his injuries, he will go to the hospital first, Zhang Chen said. As soon as he heard that he was going to the hospital, Lao Tan panicked again. He said, no, I'm not going to the hospital. It's just a fall, and I didn't fall to death. I can just lie here for a few more days and it will be fine. What, you want to save me medical expenses? Brother, let me tell you this. I'm not bragging. I can buy a hospital now. It's useless for you to save me, those two, Zhang Chen said. Did you hear that, Lao Tan? All your hard work has been in vain. Are you afraid of injections? Lu Ligan asked. What a joke, am I afraid of injections? Have you forgotten where I come from? Mr. Tan said. That's hard to say. Napoleon was still afraid of cockroaches, Lu Ligan said nonsensically. Zhang Chen remembered and asked the second guy, by the way, you haven't had breakfast, right? The second-rate guy looked at Mr. Tan and chuckled. Who are those over there? Zhang Chen asked. Two of the people who were working together also fell together with my uncle. One was hit by the falling scaffolding, and two passers-by were also hit by the foreman who was forced to work. Seeing so many people injured, he ran away, Erhuo said. Zhang Chen took out his wallet from his hip pocket, handed it to Erhuo, and told him, go buy breakfast first, buy more, and buy some for them too. Okay, the guy took his wallet and went out. On January 1, 1995, there were 1.5 million mobile phone users across the country. The first day the country was connected to the internet. Zhang Chen experienced this convenience. He used his own mobile phone to get through the 120 emergency call center in Shangri City. Call and ask them to send an ambulance. Send a few more vehicles. There are 4 patients here, patients who were injured by falls or being hit, Zhang Chen he 120 said. When the 3 patients and their family members were eating second-hand breakfast and knew that the 2 people who came today were friends of Lao Tan and would send them to the hospital for treatment, the 3 family members, he was so excited that he wanted to kneel down to Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan, but they quickly stopped him. The second-rate guy ate the meat buns with big mouthfuls and told them that they were forced to eat meat and hadn't eaten meat for a long time. It turns out that meat is so delicious. Zhang Chen's eldest brother rang, it was Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao asked, why didn't you call me all night? Zhang Chen told her that we were stuck on the road yesterday and couldn't fight even if we wanted to. We just arrived in Shangri this morning. How's it going? Have you found Big Brother? Xiao Zhao asked anxiously. Before Zhang Chen could say anything, the second-rate guy grabbed his eldest brother and shouted, Auntie, I'm the second-rate guy. Ah, you idiot. How are you? Xiao Zhao said with a smile. Okay, I'm eating steamed buns. Come on, Auntie, talk to my uncle. As the idiot said, Zhang Chen thought he was going to give the big brother back to him, but he didn't expect that he took the phone to Mr. Tan. Then Zhang Chen remembered that he and Mr. Tan were both his uncles, and couldn't help but laugh. Stand up. Mr. Tan was holding the mobile phone. As soon as he opened his mouth, Xiao Zhao started crying. Mr. Tan quickly comforted Xiao Zhao. Brother, I heard you were injured, how are you? Xiao Zhao asked. It's okay, don't listen to what they are fussing about, Mr. Tan said. The 120 ambulance arrived and sent all 4 injured people to Shangri-La People's Hospital. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan drove behind the ambulance, and the second-rate policeman sat in their car. The People's Hospital is not far from here, just across the Xinjiang Bridge. The hospital's preliminary examination revealed that among the 4 patients, Lao Tan was in the most serious condition. His cervical and lumbar vertebrae were fractured and he needed immediate surgery. After the doctor examined Lao Tan, he asked who were his family members. Zhang Chen and the other 3 said all. How long has the patient fallen? The doctor asked. 12, 13 days, said the second-hand guy. Nonsense, the doctor glared and cursed, then why are we here now? Do you know that if the spinal cord is injured, the patient will be in danger of paralysis? I'm sorry, it was our mistake, Zhang Chen said quickly. Doctor, we will perform surgery now. Can you rule out this possibility? I can't guarantee this, the doctor said. After speaking, he shook his head and said to himself, how did he survive for such a long time? Who is this person? It's incredible. Thank you to the 1000 Years of White Vote Party and Daily Reader for your rewards. Thank you Lu, Dang Aiwu, and user 266467252 for the reward. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Happy Wednesday to everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 807. Lao Tan was quickly sent to the operating room. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Erkuo went to the yard outside and found a place to sit down and smoke. The People's Hospital is at the foot of the Xinjiang Bridge. From here, you can see the Xinjiang River flowing slowly in front and the Shangri-La city opposite. Zhang Chen asked Lao Tan how he fell and got injured. The second-hand man said that the contractor who was forced to raise the scaffolding did not have enough moso bamboo to build the scaffolding, and he was reluctant to sell it. The moso bamboo cost a little more, and the man who was forced to raise it was reluctant to part with it. He only had enough bamboo to build 4 floors of scaffolding, and he wanted to build it to 5 floors. I had to reduce it everywhere. My uncle Tan also reminded him that the scaffolding erected like this is very dangerous and something could happen. The people who forced him to raise him didn't listen. He also said that you don't understand, old Tan, and you won't even save the money you should. No wonder your company is losing money. I have done many projects this way. My uncle Tan is most afraid of people saying things about the company. If he said this, Uncle Tan would stop talking, and something really happened. I went out to pull paint that day, otherwise I must have gone to the scaffolding. I was not there, and Uncle Tan went up to do it. Not long after he got up, the scaffolding fell down. The 3 workers at the top, the 2 workers at the bottom, and the 2 passers-by were all hit by the fall. When I came back, the contractor saw that the scaffolding had collapsed and knew that something was wrong, so he had already escaped. Otherwise, I will not let him go if he is forced to raise him. Didn't go to the hospital? Lu Ligan asked. Where can I have money to go to the hospital? Usually, the foreman who is forced to support me will only give me 10 yuan a month as pocket money to buy toothpaste and other things. They only pay the bill after the project is completed. Even when the bill is paid, we don't have anything. All the money has been paid off. What debt should be paid? Zhang Chen asked. I'll tell you this later. Everyone had no money, and they didn't fall to death. They could still move their hands and feet. There was only one worker who had his head smashed and bleeding. He went to a small private clinic nearby and spent 3 yuan. The 2 passers-by were sent to the hospital by their own family members after packing their wallets. My uncle Tan even said with a smile at the time that we were so lucky that it would be okay if we fell from such a height. Although my body hurt, I thought I would be fine just lying down. Unexpectedly, they walked inside and lay down and couldn't get up. I have been lying there until you came today. During the day, Uncle Tan didn't cry out in pain, but he didn't know it. When he fell asleep, he would often cry out. For such a long time, not only did it not get better at all, but it got worse and worse. I was anxious and had no other options. I didn't have any money. There were so many people lying there, and I had to eat every day to survive. I would find some odd jobs everywhere every day, help people move things, make briquettes, etc., earn 1 or 2 yuan to buy some rice and salt, go to the market to pick up leaves and other vegetables, and go back to cook some porridge for them. It had been 3 days, and Uncle Ten had even pooped on his body. I became afraid and knew that it would definitely not be better, so I thought of calling the instructor. In fact, I wanted to have a fight when I was still in Hainan, but Uncle Ten kept refusing. He said that if I dared to call you, he would chop off my hands. He might really know how to chop them off. During that time, my mind is a little unclear. Zhang Chen asked, if the contractor escaped and so many people were lying here, did Party A not care? He was forced to raise him, so he hummed Party A, and Party A also ran away. Ah! What happened? Zhang Chen asked. Party A originally rented this place to open a hotel. When he saw the contractor running away, he knew that the matter was serious. He was afraid that something might happen, so he also ran away. In fact, even if he didn't run away, there was nothing we could do. The contractor was the contractor of the scaffolding. You guys built it yourself. If it falls down, it's none of his business, am I right, instructor? Only the 2 passers-by are from the local area. They come to the unit of this house every day to make trouble. It seems that the unit is responsible for the medical expenses. We who are from other places are separated by the contractor and Party A, who is forced to raise us. Who cares about you? People have been here twice. They just urged us to move out quickly, saying that they were planning to rent this place out again. They didn't even bother to take a look at the people. They also scolded us and made the place stink. 4 people peed. How can we not stink if we are all in bed? Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan understood why the family members were so alert when they entered before. They probably thought they were here to drive them away again. What happened in Haikan? How could the eldest brother be like this? I can't get through to my eldest brother, nor can I get through to the company. Zhang Chen asked. The situation in Haikan is very clear. So many companies have collapsed all of a sudden, and we can't get money for any project. How can we, who are engaged in decoration, bear it? We have so many construction sites. Aren't the company's finances always strictly controlled and the progress of the project strictly controlled? As long as the progress payment is not received, the project will be suspended when the time is up. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked. That was when you were here. After you left, it was a bit chaotic. In addition, those companies used all their money to speculate in real estate. Uncle Ten, was also speculating in real estate with a few friends. The money came quickly. I was forced to raise him. I think he was so confused that he no longer had the heart to focus on the company. Yes, not bad, second rate, to the point. Lu Ligan shouted. This is what I see. Those companies have no money. As for Uncle Ten, I asked him to help and the project should not stop. He said that he was waiting for the land in hand to be released, and there was no progress payment. Lao Ten, I paid all the project funds. Calling you once. We were all friends, or partners who were speculating in land and real estate together, and the money came so quickly there. My Uncle Ten must have thought, this little money is nothing, so he didn't wait for the projects that should be waited for. In the end, it was all us. Advance funds are being made. Of course, there is not much advance payment. Don't most of the workers' wages and bonuses have to wait for the completion of the project? It means they are all owed money for materials from the following suppliers. Our company is so famous in Haikan, and they sell materials. And they are all old customers, and they are forced to support them. That is not to say that we can do as much as we want, and we don't even say a word of nonsense, we are all owed. But when all the party above have fled and cannot get a penny of money, of course the people below are also panicking. As long as you can still find them, they will all come to you in a hurry, including those selling materials and those at the construction site. Why do workers and company employees not need money for their wages and bonuses? My Uncle Tan lost a lot of money by investing in real estate, and he owes a lot of debt here. He was raised by force, but I, Uncle Tan, am still very stubborn. The workers below started to make a fuss. He called all the workers at each construction site and assured them, "Don't worry, I know that your money is all hard-earned money, and it should be given to you. I won't pay a penny to someone. I will be short of you. Whichever one is missing, you will raise my head. Do you think I am tough or not?" They were raised by force. At that time in Haikan, many companies collapsed and the workers could not get a penny. Uncle Tan went back to discuss with my aunt and wanted to take out all the money from the family. Of course my aunt refused. The two of them had a fight. My aunt and my uncle divorced and left with their children. Uncle Tan got his share. Everything that could be sold was sold, and with the money sent by many comrades in arms, we really gave the workers every penny they deserved. There was some left over, which was also given to the suppliers. The stone seller owed him the most. Uncle Tan gave him his car and gave him some cash. Many suppliers, seeing Uncle Tan like this, said forget it. Lao Tan, you have done your best, and you don't want the rest, except this forced labor contractor. What does this foreman have to do with you? Zhang Chen asked. This guy is a paint maker. He has a shop in the building materials market in Haikan. He supplies all our paints. My Uncle Tan owes him money for paint. In fact, he has paid back some of it, and there is still more than 30,000 yuan left. Others forget it, but he refuses to do it. He told me, "Uncle Tan, if you don't have any money, come to my place and work for me to pay off the debt." Since he made such a request, I, Uncle Tan, of course agreed to him as long as I still owed him the money. We just followed this forced labor to work on each construction site. Originally, after the project was completed, the money owed to him should be paid off, but I didn't expect this to happen. Zhang Chen felt very sad when he heard this. He had been embarrassed for more than a year because of the more than 30,000 yuan. His elder brother just refused to call him. As long as he made a phone call, he would never be able to get the 30,000 yuan. Zhang Chen thought again of the words he had been thinking about all the way, "Brother, what are you holding on for?" But he also thought, if the eldest brother's company and career were gone, and if he didn't even have this tone, he would probably collapse completely. Zhang Chen thought of something and asked, "Secret, what happened to your hotel project in Sanya?" "The hotel is not finished yet. There is not much work left. Where's the money?" "Of course you owe." My uncle Huo glanced at Zhang Chen and said, "It's lucky that you married my aunt and not the pig grass girl." Lu Ligan knew that the pig grass girl they were talking about was Jin Lily. Lu Ligan asked, "What happened to the pig grass girl?" "Zuko girl is very fierce. She had a big argument with my Uncle Tan that day, and the man named Xia didn't say anything at all." "Oh, for what?" Lu Ligan asked. "I'm not very clear about this. I saw them quarreling." "Ask me, Uncle Tan. Anyway, I think it's God's fault that the instructor married my aunt." "Secrets, you guys were planning to finish the work here and pay off the debt. Where will you go?" Zhang Chen seemed to not want to dwell on this issue anymore and changed the subject. The idiot took a puff, finished the cigarette, placed the cigarette butt between the thumb and index finger of his right hand, aimed at a tree, and flicked it out, missing. He shook his head and said, "I don't know, The Heiken company house and everything else are gone. If I go back naked like this, my Uncle Tan is probably also afraid of seeing his comrades and former soldiers. He is afraid that they will give him money again. I guess it's better to stay in mainland China. Are you just following Big Brother? Zhang Chen asked. Of course, he was raised by force. I am just a relative. If I don't follow him, who will I follow? He is injured now, and I have to follow him even more, Huo said. Zhang Chen patted the second guy on the shoulder. He looked at his watch, stood up and said to the second guy, it's still early, let's go, buy you some clothes first, and then take a shower. Still, let's wait until Uncle Tan comes out before going, Huo said. Lu Ligan said, when Lao Tan comes out, Zhang Chen, you can talk to Lao Tan, and I will take the second-rate guy. Secret, is there any ding-dong here? Lu Ligan asked. Yes, 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 they are forced to be raised. There are them at the train station. When I have nothing to do, I like to go there to see them. Looking greedy and having no money in your pocket, doesn't that feel good? The second-rate guy chuckled, I feel bad, I want to die. I haven't done it for such a long time, where are you? It's a stone, it's a stone. Okay, you idiot, when Lao Tan comes out, I will find you a doctor to treat stones, Lu Ligan said. You, Zhang Chen scolded, but thinking about it, the second-rate guy really needs it. It's really hard for him to follow Lao Tan and work part-time to help Lao Tan pay off his debts for such a long time. Thank you Lao Chentang and Pan Jigath for the reward. Thank you for your monthly pass to Bustling Farce. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 808. Lao Tan's operation was completed and he was pushed out of the operating room. The doctor called Zhang Chen and others over and told them that the operation was successful. However, the patient had been delayed for too long, and we were not sure whether the spinal cord and nervous system had been damaged. I suggest that you treat the patient as soon as possible. Send it to a big hospital and check it again. After all, we are subject to medical conditions here. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you, thank you. The three of them returned to Lao Tan's ward. Lu Ligan said to Lao Tan, you lie down well. Zhang Chen is here. I'll take the second-rate guy to take a shower and buy some clothes. Lao Tan nodded. Zhang Chen sat down beside Lao Tan's hospital bed, told Lao Tan what the doctor said, and said to him, brother, you'd better come back to Hangzhou with us and recover from your illness in Hangzhou first. Let's talk about it later. Lao Tan smiled, even if I don't agree, you won't do it, right? Zhang Chen laughed. Lao Tan held Zhang Chen's hand and said to him, thank you, Zhang Chen, for letting you run here from Hangzhou under such heavy snow. Thank you, brother, isn't this what I should do? If it were me, you wouldn't do the same thing. Lao Tan sighed and said, Zhang Chen, can I ask you a favor? Brother, tell me. This kid is pretty good in nature, but he's confused in many ways. He needs someone to take care of him, and he needs someone to take care of him. It seems like I can't take care of him anymore. Brother, don't say such things. After recovering from your injuries, you are still a good man. Old Tan held Zhang Chen's hand and shook it. Old Tan said, facing reality, let's not talk about those vain people. I know that I have been injured, not only in my body, but also here. I have no mental strength and can't do big things. Over the past year or so, this child, if you follow me, you will suffer all kinds of hardships. Big brother, please help me take care of him. Although he is 2 years older than you, in terms of life, he really should be called your uncle. If you take good care of him for me, I will be worthy of his father. Zhang Chen said yes, don't worry, I will do it. If I can't do it well, his aunt won't agree. Both men laughed. Zhang Chen took out his big brother from his pocket, held it up, and said to Lao Tan, "Brother, I'll go out and make a call while you take a rest." Lao Tan nodded. After listening to the doctor's words, Zhang Chen was thinking that he must send Lao Tan to Hangzhou as soon as possible, but with such weather and such roads, it would definitely be too much for a person who had just had surgery to take their car. The only way is to ask the hospital here to send an ambulance and send doctors and nurses to accompany him. As long as you spend more money, this shouldn't be a big problem. The call Zhang Chen wanted to make was to ask Xiao Zhao to find connections and contact the hospitals in Hangzhou first. After Zhang Chen made the call, 10 minutes later, Xiao Zhao called to say that Sister Chu had already contacted her and she was going to the second Zhejiang hospital. As long as someone sent her there, she could be admitted at any time. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen then went to the director's office of the hospital here. The director was a woman. As soon as Zhang Chen introduced which patient he was a family member of, the director shouted, "I know, I heard that they were all at the construction site opposite, and the scaffolding fell down injured construction worker? Zhang Chen is right. I also heard that those 3 people, the contractor escaped and no one was in charge. You didn't even recognize them, so they were sent here. All the expenses were paid by you," the dean asked. Zhang Chen smiled. "You are really good people. I want to thank you on behalf of the people of our old district." Zhang Chen quickly waved his hand, "No, I just saw that I still have some ability, so it's nothing if I can help." The dean nodded and asked, "What do you want from me?" Zhang Chen told the dean what the doctor said to him, and told her that he hoped to use their ambulance and send their doctors and nurses to take Lao Tan to Hangzhou together. He had already contacted her. Zhejiang Second Hospital. "When do you want to leave?" the dean asked. "The sooner the better, it's best to leave tomorrow." The dean turned his head and looked outside the window. Snow was falling outside the window. Zhang Chen muttered in his heart. He thought that the dean would probably refuse because it was snowing, or that he would wait until the road was better in 2 days before talking. Unexpectedly, the dean turned around and said to him, "Okay, even if a knife comes from the sky, I will be responsible for helping you deliver the patient safely." Zhang Chen quickly said, "Thank you, thank you. I have one more thing, and I would like to ask the dean for help," Zhang Chen said. "What's up?" Zhang Chen took out his business card, gave it to the dean, and said to the dean, "Even those 3 people, please wait until they are cured and then discharge them. When we leave tomorrow, we will pay a sum in advance below. If the money is not enough after spending it, please call me and I will transfer the money to your hospital account." The dean was a little moved. She said, "Don't worry, I will definitely let the people below use the most effective and cost-effective method to cure them, so that you don't receive my call." The next day, Zhang Chen and the others paid a fee in advance at the hospital and gave each family member 5,000 yuan in cash. At that time, this was equivalent to a year's income of a unit employee, and the family members were naturally grateful. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan drove their car and followed the ambulance on their way back to Hangzhou. Worrying that the same scene would happen again, they bought 4 plastic buckets and filled them with gasoline before leaving. "Keep it in the car for yourself and for the ambulance." Fortunately, they set off before 8 o'clock in the morning. It was daytime again, and there were many traffic policemen on the road to maintain order. By noon, they had arrived at Changshan. After walking more than 80 kilometers, which was the hardest part, they let go of half of them. Hard. At around 9 o'clock in the evening, they finally arrived at the second Zhejiang hospital. Xiao Zhao, Chu Tianlin, and He Hongmei were already waiting here. Lao Tan was quickly placed in the ward, and a comprehensive examination began the next day. Lao Tan was admitted to the hospital. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen discussed how to arrange the second-hand goods. Lu Ligan said, "Of course, arrange it at my place." "What kind of work can he do here?" I have a lot of work for him to do. Zhang Chen thought that Lu Ligan's words were right, but then he thought of Lao Tan's words. Zhang Chen still shook his head. He said, forget it and just keep me here. What can you do here? Lu Ligan asked. I need a driver who can drive for me. I also need a driver. What kind of driver do you need? Aren't the two of you taking exams for certification? Are you still missing? Between the three of you, plus a second-rate driver, isn't your slut-chartered car a sight to behold? Hearing what Zhang Chen said, Lu Ligan also laughed. He said, okay, I'll keep you here, but you are too serious. I'm afraid that the second-rate guy won't be able to stay. I also have Fan Jiangguo there, and the two of them together, they are black and white. Zhang Chen knew what Lu Ligan meant when he said he was a serious person. He asked the bastard to follow him all day long and was not allowed to speak or move. The bastard might not be able to bear it all of a sudden. He said, okay, then, I will be in charge of my working hours. The time is yours. Okay, that's it, Lu Ligan said. Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei walked in. Xiao Zhao had just returned from the hospital and told them that the test results were out and there should be no major danger. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. However, the doctor said that the delay was too long, and the treatment and recovery time may be very long. Moreover, the fracture of my eldest brother's lumbar spine was transverse, and there will still be certain sequelae in the future, such as pain when bending. You can't put any weight on your waist, etc., Xiao Zhao said. That's okay. He'll stay in the hospital for a few months. Once he's discharged, he'll just take good care of himself, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan shook his head and said, you want to take good care of Lao Tan? I'm still worried about whether he will be able to stay in Hangzhou with peace of mind after he is discharged from the hospital. Zhang Chen nodded and said, this is what I'm worried about too. What should we do? Xiao Zhao asked anxiously. I'm thinking about setting him up in Hangzhou so that he feels like he has a home in Hangzhou. We'll be there to persuade him. If he wants to work, we'll also arrange a lighter job for him, so that you will gradually feel at ease, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao and Lu Ligan both nodded. Have all the houses there been sold? Zhang Chen asked Lu Ligan. No, the second phase of Splendid Xiangting has not been put on sale yet. I mean the existing house can be renovated immediately. That's gone. You're trying to squeeze out 2 sets and you're still running out of money. The house is in someone else's hands. What can I do? Lu Ligan said. What do you want to do? I want to buy 2 houses, one for my eldest brother and one for my eldest brother. The eldest brother can't live with me all the time. He always has to start a family. With a house, my eldest brother can have his own home instead of living in the dormitory here. The eldest brother will feel stable in his heart, and he sees that the second-rate guy has his own home and job in Hangzhou. Once he is stable, he will not move. He still cares about the second-rate guy. The second-rate guy said that his eldest brother is his only relative. In fact, thinking about it in his mind, it's not the case. As a little brother, he can't wipe his face even if he makes a phone call. The second-rate guy wipes his shit. He doesn't mind even wiping urine. What is this if not a family member? Xiao Zhao and Lu Lizan nodded. You forgot, I still have 2 sets of splendid home here, He Hongmei said. Let me go, do you still have those 2 sets? Lu Ligan shouted. I like it, but no, I want to wait until the price rises a little more before selling it. Okay, He Hongmei said proudly. In fact, she was not short of money and didn't think of selling it. Sell them to me, Zhang Chen said. Good. How much will it cost? Let your sister give it to you. The original price is fine, $9.80 per square meter. How can that be done? You will lose tens of thousands, Zhang Chen shouted. You are my master, so do I still want to make money from you and sister Xiao Zhao, He Hongmei smiled. That's good, or I can sell it to you for 1 million. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, okay, I'll forward it to you right away. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, okay, Xiao Zhao, go and get the ID cards of the eldest brother and the second guy tomorrow. Zhang Zi, ask Wen Wenqian to go over and get their real estate certificates, and ask Lao Wan to send someone in. Try to decorate the house before the eldest brother is discharged from the hospital, and then we will take the eldest brother out of the hospital and send him directly to his own home. Thank you for the reward for reading every day. Thank you for your monthly ticket for sweet dreams and a safe journey. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 809. Before the decoration of splendid home was completed, Zhang Chen arranged for the second guy to temporarily live in the dormitory next door. He called the second guy over. After a few days of oil and water, the second guy recovered a lot, and his face looked, no longer so black, and already a little shiny. In the past 2 days, Lu Ligan really came to pick up a second-hand guy as soon as he got off work, taking him everywhere to eat delicious food, and even asked Fan Jiangguo to take him to the entrance of Sawanghu Hotel. Fan Jiangguo said, I won't go there now. Have you learned enough? Yes, I'm really happy for you, Lao Fan Lu Ligan said. Fan Jiangguo chuckled. He said that now, don't ask for too many tricks. They are all delivered to your door by yourself. I am very busy every day. Lu Ligan understood, too. Now Fan Jiangguo is the vice president of Zhejiang Jingxiu and drives a car. Of course, it is no longer the time when he chased girls on a broken bicycle. Many girls in turn want to chase him. Lu Lizan patted Erhuo on the shoulder and said, this is my brother. You have provided for the humming food and clothing. My brother is still hungry and cold. You take him to a life and death experience and reimburse the expenses. Fan Jiangguo was still laughing, and he called Ao Xiao, the second-rate guy, Ao Xiao, get in the car. He told Lu Ligan again, leave it to me to do the seating work. The hair will fall off the stomach. That's not all. People who have enough food and clothing and are greasy every day still like to eat wild vegetables occasionally. The second guy walked in and sat down, rubbing his hands, and asked Zhang Chen excitedly, Instructor, are you going to arrange work for me? Have you rested? Zhang Chen asked with a smile. Have an early rest. Just take a nap and you'll be fine. I've been riding a bicycle around for the past 2 days. I've almost visited all of Hangzhou. I don't even know how many times I've visited the market below. Zhang Chen said yes, he will arrange for you to go to work after you have rested. Erhuo, can you be my driver? Okay, as long as I can be with the instructor, I'll be fine with anything, Erhuo said. Do you have a driver's license? I didn't send you to take the test right away when Zhang Chen was in Haikan. He knew that he could drive, but he really didn't know if he had a driver's license. Yes, I was raised by force. I am an experienced driver. Did you buy that certificate or take a test? Zhang Chen asked. The second-rate guy scratched his head and smiled. Zhang Chen knew that the certificate was real, but there was no test and it was bought directly through connections. Such a driver must be a wild man and driving is very dangerous. Zhang Chen was not worried that it would affect his own safety, but was more worried about the second-hand's own safety. After the conversation with Lao Tan in Shangro, Zhang Chen had some changes in his heart when he was with the second-hand again. It no longer feels like just a friend like before, but I feel that I really have the obligation to take care of him. Fortunately, the second guy has a glib tone, but he always listens to Zhang Chen's words. Zhang Chen thought about the driver's license and found it a bit difficult. He wanted to ask the idiot to take the driver's license test again, but he had never heard of someone taking the driver's license to take the driver's license test. Then they asked you where the driver's license came from. Not more headache. Zhang Chen said to Erhuo, there are three things. Erhuo, I want to make it clear to you. Say it, instructor. First, I'm afraid of death. You bought this certificate. I want someone to test your driving skills. Otherwise, I won't dare to sit in the car you drive. Yeah, I understand. Rich people are afraid of death. If I were rich and forced to raise a child, I would be equally afraid of death. Living with money is so interesting, so why would I want to die? It's not this. After you become a driver, your god brother will often ride in your car. Okay, then I must be very careful. Also, don't be forced to keep your mouth shut. Who is not forced to raise you? But you can't say it, especially when your god brother is around. Of course, it doesn't matter if you talk in front of me. If you don't say it, I will suffocate you to death. That's good. If there are children and women here, is it okay not to say anything? The second-rate guy had a sad face and looked embarrassed. Zhang Chen asked, what's wrong? Those ding-dongs, the more I say this, the happier they become. Yesterday Fan Jiangguo took me to Wanghu Hotel, those. Zhang Chen laughed, okay, I mean when I'm working, when I'm in the unit. That's okay. If I can't help but say it, I'm forcing you to do it. Instructor, don't be polite. Slap me twice on the mouth. I'll remember it. Say the third word. The third thing is that during the next period of time, I am in the office and don't go out much. I just drive around the city. Your main energy is still spent on going to the hospital to take care of your elder brother. Also, you have to tell your elder brother that you like Hangzhou very much, and say it over and over again. Why? I was raised by force. It's so cold here. Where is Hainan better? Do you still want your eldest brother to run around? Especially since his injury has healed, and the doctor said he can't do heavy work, do you still want him to run around to any construction site, climbing up and down scaffolding? I will arrange an easy job for him then. You don't know yet about the elder brother. He will feel embarrassed or want to run out on his own. You said you like it here and want to stay here. Let him if you like her too, you won't want to run away, Zhang Chen said. Okay, then let me tell you, why is this woman from Hangzhou so beautiful? I like it here. Yes, you can say whatever you want, as long as he can stay here in a down-to-earth manner, Zhang Chen said. This is what we have decided, you can go wherever you want to go. The second-rate guy hesitated, as if he still refused to leave. Zhang Chen asked, what else do you want? The idiot smiled, leaned over, and asked mysteriously, Instructor, the girl next door is so beautiful, can I have sex with her? Which woman? The one who also lives in the dormitory, the one at the top. Zhang Chen knew that he was talking about Tan Shahen. Zhang Chen shook his head, no. Why? She was Zhuangzi's former girlfriend. Now, Zhuangzi still wants to get her back. When the idiot heard this, he waved his hands quickly and shouted, you can't touch it, you can't touch it. I tied that guy in a knot myself and I can't touch it. Hee, I didn't expect that this guy had such a beautiful girlfriend, who is more beautiful than he is now. The two crazy ones are much better, and they still look so quiet. By the way, you idiot, I remembered the fourth point again. You are not young anymore. It's time to take care of yourself. Before Zhang Chen finished speaking, the idiot stood up and wanted to run away, scolding, you are forced to raise me, instructor, why are you as verbose as my Uncle Tan? Zhang Chen smiled and said, I'm your uncle too. Shit, my aunt is my aunt, my god brother is my god brother, and you are either my uncle or the instructor, the idiot said as he prepared to go out and almost bumped into Xiao Zhao. The second-rate guy quickly stopped and called Auntie before continuing to go out. Xiao Zhao shouted, "Come back, second-rate guy, come back." The second-rate guy came back and asked, "Auntie, what's wrong with me?" Xiao Zhao gave him the ID card of the second-rate man and said to him, "Give the ID card back to you." The second guy took his ID card and was about to leave. Xiao Zhao said, "I'll give this to you too." The second-hand guy saw that what Xiao Zhao gave him was a land certificate and a real estate certificate. He looked at Xiao Zhao in confusion, saying, "Why are you giving me this?" Zhang Chen said, "Didn't I ask you and eldest brother to stay here with peace of mind? This is your own home." The second-hand guy opened the real estate certificate and saw his name written inside. He was shocked and quickly returned the real estate certificate to Xiao Zhao, shouting, "No, no, force." The second-rate guy looked at Zhang Chen, slapped his mouth, and continued, "No, no, no, I can't have this, it's too expensive." "What's wrong? If I tell you to take it, just take it," Xiao Zhao said. The second-rate guy still shook his head and said, "No, if I take this, my Uncle Tan will scold me to death." Xiao Zhao asked, "Uncle Tan is your uncle, but I am not your aunt? Are you afraid of being scolded to death by Uncle Tan, but aren't you afraid of being scolded to death by me?" The second-rate guy was stunned. Zhang Chen said, "Take it, second-rate guy, go to the elder brother, I will go and talk to him, you don't need to say anything." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao both said this, and then the second-hand guy took the real estate certificate, opened it, and looked at it with a smile. "Why are you laughing?" Xiao Zhao asked curiously. Huo pointed to the name on the real estate certificate and said, "I have grown so old, this is the first time I have seen that my name turns out to be so beautiful." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao both laughed. "By the way, second-hand guy, the decoration has started there. I designed it for you. Do you want to take a look?" Zhang Chen asked. "Think about it." Huo nodded quickly and said, "Let's go, I'll go with you," Xiao Zhao said. The three of them took Zhang Chen's car and went to Jingxiu home. The second-hand house was located in Unit 302 of the 5th building of the community, and Lao Tan's house was located in Unit 101 of the 6th building at the back. Taking into account Lao Tan's injury, it might be inconvenient to go up and down stairs in the future, so Xiao Zhao made such an arrangement when he asked Zhao Jingjing and Wen when to apply for the real estate certificate. When they arrived at 302, 7 or 8 workers were busy working here. Lao Wan was not there, but the leader was Zhang Chen and Tita from the maintenance team of Sanbeo factory. When he saw Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao coming, he hurriedly when he came over, Zhang Chen asked him, "How are you now?" Tita said, "Yes, the work now is simpler than before, just doing plastering work every day, unlike before, doing everything, but now it is not as fun as before in Sanbeo." "There are many girls in Sanbeo, right?" Zhang Chen asked, and Tita smiled and said, "Yes, that's right. In the past, there were so many people working the night shift, chattering and being woken up by them even if they fell asleep. But now no one is making any noise. It seems they are not used to it." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao also laughed. Zhang Chen asked Tita about the renderings, showed them to the second guy, and took the second guy to the largest room. The second guy looked at the renderings and asked, "Instructor, whose room is this?" "Of course it's yours." "No, no, no." When the idiot saw Xiao Zhao not far away, he lowered his voice and cursed, "I was forced to raise you," and then said, "This room is for my Uncle Tan. I can live in a small room." "Brother doesn't live here, this is your own house," Zhang Chen said. "Where does Uncle Tan live?" "Eldest brother's house is on the first floor at the back." "Why, you still want to squeeze in a house with your Uncle Tan? If you don't find it annoying, eldest brother will find it annoying. Not only are the girls in Hangzhou beautiful, but the middle-aged women in Hangzhou are also she's just as beautiful, and with my eldest brother's style, people will be attracted to him soon, and your Uncle Tan might find you another aunt soon. The idiot kept nodding and smiling. This is good, this is good. If this is the case, his old horse will be tied up and it will become more honest. Thank you to the 10,000 Years White Vote Party, on the shore 131, and reading books every day for your rewards. Thank you N, Gangster Eyes, Book Friend 202003182329565519, Book Friend 2017041523533547 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 810. They came out of 302 and went to Unit 101, Unit 2, Building 6, Laotan, which was also being renovated. After coming out of here, they went to Zhang Chen's parents' house and took the second-rate guy to see Zhang Xiangbei. Huo was sitting there. Zhang Chen, Xiaozhao, and Zhang Chen's parents were chatting. They were talking about things in Xiangnan and Xiangbei. The two people stood side by side in front of Huo and asked Xiangnan, "Who are you?" Xiangbei also asked, "Who are you?" The second-hand kid looked at them with a smile. Suddenly his cheeks moved and he made a frog sound. The two children were startled and leaned back. Then they stared at the second-hand kid curiously. The second-hand kid's cheeks there was a movement, then two more coo sounds, and the two children laughed. Xiangnan said, "Come back soon." Xiangbei also said, "Come back soon." A bunch of frog sounds came out of the idiot's mouth. The two children laughed so hard that the adults were also attracted. Zhang Chen's father laughed and said, "Ha ha, how come they are so similar?" Huo and Xiangnan Xiangbei said, "Let's go out to look for leaves. I can also learn a lot of bird calls. Do you want to listen?" Both children shouted for it. The second-hand guy said, "Instructor, I'll take them out to play." Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen's father stood up and said, "I want to go take a look too." The two adults and two children went out and came back more than half an hour later. As soon as they entered the door and headed south, they ran towards Xiaozhao and shouted, "Aunt Xiaozhao, this Uncle Frog can learn a lot of bird calls." Xiangbei also took the second-rate guy's hand and urged, "Uncle Frog, scream quickly, scream quickly." Huo immediately let out a string of beautiful bird songs. Two children, one leaning on Huo, kept calling Uncle Frog, asking him to learn this and that. Zhang Chen and Xiaozhao looked at each other, and Zhang Chen muttered, "Why have you become the uncle again? Aren't you the elder brother?" Zhang Chen's father said, "I asked them to call him, isn't he older than you, how is it appropriate to call him brother? This person is really interesting, he really looks like what he learned, haha." Zhang Chen looked at Xiaozhao, who laughed. "Come on, isn't this even more messy?" After returning from Splendid Garden, Zhang Chen took Lao Tan's real estate certificate and land certificate to the hospital. Since all the idiots knew about this, Zhang Chen had to go and make it clear to his elder brother, otherwise he would soon know it from the second-hand people. Zhang Chen came back from the hospital. Wu Ziyai and Xiaozhao were sitting in his office. Wu Ziyai was called by Zhang Chen to help him take the exam. When Xiaozhao saw Zhang Chen coming back, he asked, "Did the elder brother make sense?" Zhang Chen nodded. "Mr. Zhang, Wei Venfang and I will also go to see Mr. Tan tomorrow, is it okay?" Wu Ziyai asked. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen called the second guy over. The two of them knew each other already and no introduction was needed, but Wu Ziyai had never been in a car driven by the second guy before. The two of them got out, Wu Ziyai sat in the passenger seat, and the second guy drove the car. They were chatting. "I walked around the streets of Hangzhou for an hour." When he came back, Zhang Chen asked Wu Ziyai, "How about driving as a second-rate guy?" "It's worth to Mr. Lu," Wu Ziyai said, and Zhang Chen felt relieved. After arranging for Lao Tan and Huo, it's time to prepare for the new year. This year's New Year's Eve is January 31st, which is still 20 days away. This year, Tan Shahen is in the store. Xiao Zhao doesn't have to worry about the store during the Spring Festival. Lao Tan is again. Zhang Chen and the others are planning to take Zhang Xiangbei back to Sichuan this year to visit his grandparents. Xiao Zhao has not been home for more than 2 years. Last year, when He Hongmei and her Chongqing store were preparing to renovate, they arrived in Chongqing. He Hongmei drove them back, but they only went to the countryside. Even the new house at home was built. How is it? Zayadu has never seen it. They decided to go to Chongqing to celebrate the new year. The two children knew that they would take a plane. Zhang Xiangbei was ignorant. Feng Xiangnan was on the side, but she cried silently. She knew that this not only meant being separated from her brother, but also meant that her brother would have a plane ride. And she didn't. Xiao Zhao looked distressed, so she went to discuss with Tan Shahen, either letting Xiangnan and Xiangbei go to Chongqing together. Tan Shahen was working in the store this year anyway, so she would spend the New Year's Eve with Zhang Chen's parents. Otherwise, at that time, Xiangnan was too lonely alone with two old people. Tan Shahen agreed. Xiangnan was overjoyed when he found out that he was also going to take a plane. In the next few days, Xiangnan would often stand up and say to Xiangbei, "Let's go." The two of them went out mysteriously, either to the garden in front or to the vegetable patch in the back. They stood there, looking up at the sky. They saw that their necks were sore, then they came back, and after a while they ran out again. Zhang Chen's mother followed her out and looked up at the sky. There was nothing in the sky, but the two children still looked up at the sky with their necks raised so seriously. Zhang Chen's mother asked them what they were looking at, and Xiangnan said they were looking at airplanes. We wanted to see what the plane we were on looked like. Zhang Chen's father heard Xiangnan's words and said casually, "Just like birds, airplanes also have wings, and they can fly only if they have wings. Look, humans, dogs, fish, and cats can't fly just because they don't have wings. Fly." The two children went to look for the bird again and stared blankly at the bird on the tree. They couldn't figure out where to sit when the bird was so small. The two of them each took an empty Qingchanbao jar and went to the vegetable field behind to look for it among the cabbage grown by Zhang Chen's father. Zhang Chen's father was very curious and walked over to ask them what they were looking for. Xiangnan said, "Grandpa, we are looking for bugs." "Nanan, why are you looking for insects?" Zhang's father asked. "We are flying on a plane. If the plane gets hungry and can't fly, it won't drop us. We carry bugs with us. If the plane gets hungry, we feed it bugs." Dad Zhang laughed and asked, "Then how do you know that airplanes like to eat bugs?" Zhang Xiangbei said, "Grandpa didn't say that airplanes are like birds. Birds love to eat bugs." "Ah!" Zhang Chen's mother yelled in the house. Zhang Chen's father thought something had happened and hurried back. It turned out that it was two children who wanted to get the jar of youth treasure. "Pour it onto the coffee table." Zhang Chen's father said, it's okay. You just need to tell them later that airplanes like to eat youth treasures, and they will put them back for you." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao came back in the evening. Zhang Chen's parents told them what had happened, and the two of them laughed wildly. The next day, halfway through work, Zhang Chen called the second guy and asked him to drive to his parents' house to pick up Xiangnan and Xiangbei, and then pick him up again. We took them to Jianqiao Airport to watch the planes. The two children were so happy when they heard that they were going to watch the plane that they immediately climbed into the car. Zhang Chen stood at the window and got downstairs when he saw the second-hand car coming back. They arrived at Jianqiao Airport. Jianqiao Airport was very small, with only a 3-story terminal building. It was boxy and looked like a gymnasium building. This was to welcome Nixon's visit to China in 1971, when he would visit Hangzhou. Expanded. When they arrived at the steps in front of the terminal, Zhang Chen took Xiang Nan and Xiang Bei off the bus, and the second cargo went to park the car. Zhang Chen told the second cargo to come to the cafe upstairs to find us. Zhang Chen led Xiang up to the north and entered the gate. It was a two-story hall. Ticketing, check-in and waiting were all in this hall. They could not enter the waiting room. Standing on the first floor, they could not enter. You can't see the tarmac at the back, but walking in from the ticket office, there is a wide step up to the second floor. There is a cafe and a restaurant on the second floor. Zhang Chen led Xiang north up the stairs. Outside the floor-to-ceiling glass of the cafe and restaurant was the apron. The fees here were very high. Whether you wanted a cup of water or a cup of coffee, the fee was 50 yuan. At that time, a pound of pork the price is 5 yuan, which is equivalent to the cost of 10 pounds of pork to drink a glass of water here, so the place is very empty and there are not many people. Zhang Chen took his two children and sat at a table near the floor-to-ceiling glass. The two children were unwilling to sit down. They saw two planes parked on the tarmac outside. Only then did Xiang Nan realize how big the plane was. Not like what I saw on TV, nor like what Grandpa said, just like a bird. The two people pressed their faces against the glass and looked out greedily. Even Zhang Chen asked them to drink juice and refused to come over to drink it. When the second-rate guy came, Zhang Chen asked him what he wanted. He asked for a cup of Coke. The two of them sat there chatting while the two children watched. Going south and north, I saw a car driving under the plane. Many people got out of the car. Compared with the plane, those people were as big as matches. They climbed up the ladder one by one. After walking through the door, the car drove away, and then the ladder, like breadcrumbs carried by ants, moved away by itself, and the plane door was closed. Xiang Nan held his breath, not knowing what was going to happen next. He turned to Xiang Bei and asked the second guy, "Uncle Frog, what is the sound of the plane?" The second guy was stunned for a moment. He really didn't know how the plane called. He said, "Wait a minute. When we hear how the plane sounds, I will teach you how to call it." Xiang Bei turned around and pressed their faces against the glass like Xiang Nan again. The glass flattened their noses. It's moving, the plane is moving." Xiang Nan shouted loudly. Zhang Chen and Huo turned around to look. Sure enough, on the tarmac, a plane began to move slowly, moved to the runway, and stopped there. Zhang Xiangbei became anxious and shouted, "Sister, why doesn't it move again? Is it hungry?" Xiang Nan asked, "Do you have a youth treasure with you?" Xiangbei said, "No, have you?" "I do not have either." Xiang Nan said, and the two of them sighed in disappointment. Fortunately, the plane started to move again immediately, and the speed was getting faster and faster, with a huge roar, and the air waves sprayed out made the entire plane look dull and it was blurry, and when they saw it clearly again, it had already lifted off the ground, and both children clapped. "Fly! Fly!" They shouted loudly, and now, there was only a lone plane left on the tarmac. Zhang Chen then called them over and told them that airplanes do not eat bugs or youth treasures. "Then what does it eat?" Xiang Nan asked. "It doesn't eat anything. It burns kerosene, just like my uncle's car. My uncle's car burns gasoline, so it moves. An airplane burns kerosene to fly. Cars burn gasoline, so why don't planes burn fuel?" Xiang Nan asked. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment and then laughed. He told Xiang Nan that airplanes burn kerosene, which is not called flying oil. Ships burn diesel oil, which is not called wheel oil. Many of them burn diesel oil. Tractors also burn diesel oil, which is not called tractor oil. What about gasoline? What else can be used to burn it? Xiang Nan asked. Zhang Chen thought for a while and really couldn't remember anything else that burned gasoline, but he thought about it and told Xiongnan that it might be because only cars burn gasoline, so gasoline is called gasoline after cars. Diesel has so many things to burn, so it's just stop barking at anything. Then diesel is better. Gasoline is just a follower. Xiangnan nodded. Zhang Chen and Huo laughed. The two children also wanted to watch another plane take off. Zhang Chen told them that it would take a long time, since we would be taking a flight in a few days anyway. Xiangnan smiled and said, then we will become matches. What matches? Zhang Chen wondered. The four of them went downstairs and passed by the canteen. They saw some airplane models for sale. Xiangbei wanted to buy one. Zhang Chen asked the two of them to pick one each. Two children were choosing airplane models. Zhang Chen looked around. He saw a figure at the security checkpoint and was shocked. Zhang Chen quickly told the second kid, look at them. He ran towards the security checkpoint, and when he arrived, the man had disappeared. Zhang Chen asked the security inspector, can you help me call the woman who just came in? The security inspector shook his head and told Zhang Chen that I could not leave my post. Zhang Chen walked back helplessly. When he saw the service desk for the people, his eyes lit up. Zhang Chen walked over and asked, I have a friend who forgot something. Can you help me broadcast a call and ask her to pick it up at the security checkpoint? The other party said yes, and Zhang Chen was overjoyed. The other party took out a form and wrote it on it. While writing it, he asked, what's your name? Lu Yun. Can I ask for her flight number? Have no idea. The other party stopped the pen in his hand and said to Zhang Chen, I'm sorry, then we can't call for you. Why? According to regulations, you must know the flight number and it must be consistent with our records before you can help call. Otherwise, everyone will call randomly and it will be chaotic. There's not just one plane out there. You can find out the flight number if you check it. I'm sorry, you have to provide this. Zhang Chen was anxious. He said, well, please help me check. Is there anyone named Lu Yun among the passengers on this plane? You don't even know if she's in there. The other party looked at Zhang Chen suspiciously and asked. Zhang Chen revealed his secret and knew that his goal could not be achieved. He could only walk back in frustration. When he reached the canteen, to the south and north, a man was holding a model airplane in his hand, flying up and down, with second-hand goods on the side. He kept helping them learn the roar of airplanes. The lessons are really similar. Thank you Wu Yehuan for the reward. Thanks to Smiling and Running Y, who ranked third from top to bottom for the reward. Thank you to Wu Yehuan, Wonderful on the Road, and Murin for your monthly passes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life.